Check this out. How old is your mom? 80 years old.
I absolutely loved it. And this is your mama talking, and you know how judgmental I am. And when I say it's good, it's good. Wonderful. Both of you together is fantastic. I love you, and I'm so proud of you. Ciao, ciao. Have a great night. I want to listen to the next one.
That's my mom, 80 years old.
Dude, that's so cool.
And she's listening till it was 10 after 1 in the morning.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know that he's a party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to a Pocket Party. Pocket Party.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. Yeah, we all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to a Pocket Party.
And we're back. Yes.
Pocket Party.
How you guys feeling? I hope you had a great weekend and looking forward to this week. We are going to make it happen, Captain. That's right. I just got back from Orlando, Florida, and I want to thank all the good people that came out to see me at the Orlando Improv. I want to thank the Tom and Dan podcasters. Those guys are awesome. Big shout out to the BDMs. That's awesome, man. I never met, man, I swear to God, these guys are so cool. They used to be in radio. They got their own thing going. They started their podcast, and it's a behemoth, man. This thing is amazing. They have their own building, like office with like sweet-ass carpet that has their logo everywhere. You guys are badass. They were awesome. Right out. Oh, you know what? They already subscribed to my podcast and gave me compliments and shout outs. And I got new listeners and followers because of them. And people came out to the show. And I want to thank all the good people that came out to the show because of the Tom and Dan podcast. That's the power of podcasting, man. We're in this together. We don't need the big radio. I mean, I don't even know if radio works anymore. Shout out if you did hear me on radio. I appreciate it. But it ain't like the old days, brother. I'll tell you that much. Back when I started right out of high school, B95 Fresno's Killer Bee, call my B-lines, which is what they call the request line. Get it, B, my B-lines. So silly, but... Oh, okay, right off the gate, I want to tell you, please, if you are in the neighborhood, to come see me August 3rd. This Friday, I'll be at the Ice House in Pasadena. Now, my big show, I really want to push, really want to get some butts in the seats to kind of show them the impact of the Party Starter and the Pocket Party podcast fans, is I will be at the Ontario Improv. The Ontario Improv in the Inland Empire. That's right, the Inland Empire, the IE, the Ontario Improv. Now, it's a Wednesday night, but it's a Wednesday, August 29th. Listen, I'm going to get there early. We'll do a meet and greet before the show. We'll have a kick-ass show. I got my buddy on there, Peter Marr, who is hilarious. And we'll do another meet and greet at the end in case you can't get there in the beginning. We'll meet and greet at the beginning. We'll do a show. We'll meet and greet at the end. It'll be awesome. We'll take photos. We'll tag each other. Bam, bam. That's what we'll do. August 6th, I'll be in Santa Barbara. And August 19th and 20th, I'll be at the Dead Crow in North Kakalaka, North Carolina. Big shout out to all the good people. Mike Bagak, the guy's always retweeting the link to the podcast, and that helps. Here's what I found out when I was in North Carolina or Orlando. This is so easy. If you go to the podcast app on your iPhone, search Darren Carter Pocket Party, and all you gotta do is once you get there, scroll, and all the way down is where you see the 5 stars, and you literally just tap those 5 stars, and it goes rating, boom. And if you got another 30 seconds, just put big fan of the show, I like episode blah blah blah, or whatever you feel about this podcast, leave it there, and it literally will take you 30 seconds. The swiping up, 5 stars, boom, and then leave a quick review. And I guess that's how the algorithm works, because I looked at Mark Maron, and these guys have thousands and thousands of ratings, and we'll get there. We will get there. I'll get there, even if it's the last thing I do. If no one's even listening to podcasts, and I'm still doing this 12 years later, but I don't care. I'm joking around. I love podcasting. To me, this is the best. I got great advice months ago, from Sam Tripoli. Have as much fun as online doing something you love as you do on stage. And this is the closest I've come to that. You know, I've done different things. You know, I make memes for the Instagram. I do, you know, all that kind of stuff. But podcasting, man, it's just I love it. I love everything about it. I think that's about it. I think we're gonna dive deep into this great podcast. It's epic. It's epic. It's my longest podcast I've ever done, and you'll find out why. And it's one of those. If you listen to it in one setting, that's cool. If you got to break it up over a period of a week or whatever, that's great. Dean Larit is awesome. I love having him on. And I know I was going to tell you. I was at the airport this morning. This is hilarious. I was at Jersey Mike's getting a breakfast, and I was like, "Yeah, let me get the breakfast sandwich." And this really hot girl in front of me, she got the exact same sandwich, but I noticed the cook was paying her special attention. And it's the airport. It's like not like anyone knows anyone. I'm telling you, he gave her a bigger sandwich, and he also put more bacon on hers. And I'm like, "Oh, come on, man! Like, this sucks. I need to work out more or something. And how come there couldn't be a lady back there giving me, you know?" It almost sounded kind of weird, giving me the bacon, but you know what I mean. But it was just kind of funny. I was like, yeah, I get it. You know, she's going to get the bigger sandwich with more bacon. I get it. Orlando was a trip. If you guys have never been to Florida, just like clockwork, man, they have thunderstorms every day for about an hour. And I'm talking real water, real weather, not like this California stuff where you can still walk around and go jogging. And I mean, this is the kind of weather your clothes get drenched. I literally walked into this place. I wanted to go to this place called the Capitol Grill, get a nice healthy salad. It was closed. I was like, damn. And that was right when the crack of the thunder was happening. And I was like, oh, the storm's going to come. So I went next door to this pub. And of course, I mean, it's bar food. They're not having like healthy salads. I looked at the menu. I sat down. After about maybe 4 minutes, I'm like, it's not worth it. I don't want to ruin my diet. I came here to like eat healthy. I go outside and it was torrential weather. It was hilarious. I felt bad for her, but it was kind of funny. All her friends were all giggling at her coworkers. The server came running like Usain Bolt. Boom, Usain Bolt. Just drenched. Her apron was soaked. She looked like she literally looked like she took a shower with like her apron on and her clothes. It was like, that's how wet it gets there. And also, if you have a fear of lizards, don't go to Florida. Because there's lizards everywhere. You'll be like, lizard. Oh, another lizard. Oh, my God. There's like lizards everywhere. So they don't mess with you, though. I didn't see any. They just run away. What else did I see? I saw a lot of this in Orlando. I saw a lot of like cars that had weird things on them. Like there was a lobster covering an entire VW bug. And it said, "Oh, you can eat lobster." It was one of those things where you're like, oh, do people see a car like that? And they're like, I'm hungry. I didn't even know there was lobster there. Let me follow this car back to his restaurant. Which is kind of weird because lobsters, if you look at them, if they weren't red, they'd look like cockroaches kind of. It's kind of disgusting. I don't know. A little bit gross to me, but, you know. I mean, they taste delicious. I just don't want to look at them. We also saw, in the morning, looked like a mouse, like a Mickey Mouse on a VW bug. It was 2 ears, and the back of the car was a tail. And I'm like, oh, is that to drum up business for Disneyland? And then when we got closer, it was for rodent control, pesticides. I was like, oh, my God. You know, like, I'm sure little kids are like, Mommy, look, there's Mickey. You know, whoa, no, I killed that rat. That's my job. I'm full of poison, boys and girls. I kill rodents. Oh, wow, it's the happiest place on earth. Get this guy out of here. My work here is done. Oh, this is funny, too. Out there, they have all these parks, man. They have one called Holy Land. I go, and the guy that was giving me rides to radio, I go, oh, man, what's his name? Oh, I'll give him a shout out. He's a comic. His name is Mike. And he goes by the name of, I think, Jokes. I do jokes for a living, or Jokes is how I make my money, or fudge. His name is Mike. Big shout out to Mike. Damn it. I want to give him a shout out, a real shout out. Mike. Jokes is how I make my money, or something like that, right? Isn't that what his name is? Mike? Whatever. Okay, so anyways, tell him I said what's up. If you guys, you know who I'm talking about. Anyways, if you know who I'm talking about. It was hilarious, though, because we passed by this place. It was called Gatorland. Gator, like alligator. And I go, what is Gatorland? And he goes, it's exactly what you think it'd be. I was like, oh. And then later on the highway, we saw a place called Holy Land. And it was real like biblical. And I go, what's that all about? It's exactly what you think it would be. I was like, oh look, what's that? It says blowjob land. Let's go there. It ain't what you think it is. No, that's all lawn care and hair products. Yeah, and they also sell fans. I don't know. It's a joke I said on stage. It was pretty funny, but whatever. It's kind of weird to talk into a microphone. Are you guys laughing in your cars or on your treadmills? Remember, Holy Land, Gatorland, Wonderland, okay? Beep. Speaking of beep, as soon as I got off the plane, I came home, grabbed a quick 2 shots of espresso, had a half a sandwich, took a quick cold shower, and it took me and my boy, went to the boxing gym, and he got to meet Buddy McGirt. That's right, Buddy McGirt, who was on the podcast earlier this month. And that was awesome, man. My son Austin and I, we got like a quick workout, and Austin is, man, he's a musical little, I love it, man. We went to Costco, and he did a little concert, which is hilarious. My friend was busting my balls. He's like, just get the kid a piano already. Quit being so cheap. Because I'm always posting these like things on my Instagram stories of, here we are at Costco. And then the next week, here we are at Guitar Center. I'm going to sneak him into the Comedy Store late at night. But my friend Tarun Shetty does this travel show on Facebook where it gets like 25,000 plus views. And you guys have heard Tarun Shetty on the podcast. It's great. Look up Tarun Shetty on Facebook. It's awesome. Like he'll go to like Ojai or Solvang or New York City or wherever he goes. And he does like these quick little travel videos. And so, Tarun heard the theme song that Austin did, and Tarun goes, hey, you make me a theme song. And so Austin did, and here, I'll play it for you. Let's see. It goes like this.
If there's a traveling show you like to watch, just listen to Tarun's Thoughts. If you want to learn certain talents history, just watch Tarun's Thoughts. If you want to love, learn a room, just watch Tarun's Thoughts. Tarun's Thoughts, Tarun's Thoughts, Tarun's Thoughts, Tarun's Thoughts.
Isn't that cool? I mean, I'm using my phone, so you're not hearing the full quality of it, but it's pretty cool, especially for like a 10-year-old out there coming up with stuff. I know I couldn't do it. Man, he's got a musical ear, and I may get this wrong. If you're listening, which I know you like to listen to my podcast, you're like, Dad, it's like we're going on an adventure together, which is sweet. Hashtag dad life. But when I took him to the boxing gym, the boxing clock, it goes off every 3 minutes, and then it gives you like the 30-second break. But when it goes ding, 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 he was like, that's in C major. And then when the round is about to start, it goes ding, 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 ding. And he's like, that's F minor. I may have not have gotten that right, but it was something like that. He knows his keys of music. And is that even the right word? What key? Yeah, I think it's the keys. But anyways, let's jump into the podcast. You guys are awesome. Thanks for listening. And now let's start that party in your ear holes. Number one, I want to thank you guys. Please give a shout out. I'm sorry, forget shout out. Give any kind of like thumbs up on YouTube. I found out thumbs ups are really important on any of my YouTube videos. If you're just bored one day at work, just go to all my videos and give thumbs up and comments. It'll help tremendously. YouTube, comment and thumbs up, and iTunes, the podcast, and share it, man. Every now and then, share an episode, share the whole thing on Twitter, on Facebook. Let's get this party started. And right now, speaking of starting a party, let's start that party in your ear holes.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.
I love that. Seriously, man. You're like the fucking coolest guy.
Seriously?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
I just should we start the podcast? And we're back. That's right, folks. You're right. You're listening to the number one downloaded guest that I've had so far on the Pocket Party. You know him from...
Well, the list is very long, Darren. And if you don't have a couple of sheets of paper...
Oh, you know from Days of Our Lives. You know him from Nick Swardson's Pretend Time. You know, I introduced him last time as the wealthy bachelor. And he's like, what am I, Batman?
What am I, Bruce Wayne?
Dude, I love hanging out with you.
You forgot Jamie Kennedy's heckler.
Oh, yeah, he was a Jamie Kennedy. Now, were you the heckler?
No,
or were you getting heckled?
No. I was the guy who was opening for him on the road. Me and Al Berman were opening for him on the road. And, but yeah, we did a lot of stuff on that movie. That was a lot of fun. The list goes on and on and on.
But if you guys want to know what Dr. Dean is like, first of all, he's a doctor, and but he's like a cool doctor. Like, if you guys are afraid of doctors, or you're like, oh, I don't want to go to the chiropractor. I don't know. Like, listen, man, he's a cool dude. He's a comic, an actor, or just a great late night dude, man. This guy's like hangs out late at night, and that's why I call him the wealthy bachelor, because he's not like, he doesn't wear the golden handcuffs like you would imagine. Unfortunately, a lot of us. Not us, but a lot of people have to do where they're.
Sometimes I wear handcuffs.
And are they golden? Dude, he's like basically what I'm trying to say.
They're golden with a cream glaze.
He's like, I'm afraid to ask where that comes from.
Exactly.
This will be the lowest rated podcast. No, I'm joking. You know what Dean is like? He's like if you had like that friend, back when you guys were like 16 and 17, that had like his whole apartment. It looks like a 16-year-old's bedroom, and as if it's like the parents are out of town and he's got the place to himself. And he's like right now, I just put my drink down, my iced coffee, and I'm like, oh man, there's no coaster. And I was like, it had that wet water ring. He's like, forget about it, which is how I think. I'm like, yeah, who cares about those things?
Yeah, the only thing that's missing in this apartment from, to sort of keep it up a 16-year-old, is like my black light marijuana leaf posters.
That's true.
My Jimi Hendrix posters.
I was just going to say that, the Doors and all that.
The Doors, Jimi Hendrix.
I love the Doors, man. Did you ever get into the
Doors?
Great. They were great.
Those were great, man.
I always make my son play them. He's like, 10 years old. And he's on this little keyboard.
Yeah.
I go play and he plays a little bit of the Roadhouse Blues, and then he plays a little bit of Hello, I Love You, Won't You Tell. I think he plays that one and a little bit of Light My Fire.
And he does everything from by ear?
Yes, by ear. He can read music a little bit, and he took the lessons. But and when he transposed a song, he went to the is it called a staff sheet or something?
Mm-hmm.
So he would listen to a song note by note and then write down where the notes are and stuff. But he's what he's doing is way better than what I'm doing, because now he's like learning how to play guitar. And so, because I bought a guitar, which I can tell you exactly when I bought it. It was in November of 2001. And how do I know that? Because at that time, I used to go to my mother-in-law's house, and we didn't. I don't think we had a computer back then, because they were, they took up a lot of room. It's like,
right.
And I mean, compared to now, it sounds hilarious. It took up so much room, but it did. It was just like, so I go to my mother-in-law's house, and she had web TV. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with web TV? Mm-hmm. It's hilarious. I used to do a joke about it, which is actually not even a joke. It's real true. You didn't even call IT. You wouldn't call like tech support. You would just take it back down to Sears, and they would work on it for you. But I used to go on web TV when I'd go up there to her house, and I was like, all right, cool. I got a couple hours. Let me go on these websites like tablature.com or tabcrawler.com or whatever it was. It was Tab, and I would be like. Oh, by the way, something occurred to me quickly where I was like, wow, I want to play guitar, but a lot of the songs I was listening to at that time didn't have guitar in them.
Okay.
It's a lot of the previous, like the classic rock songs.
70s,
yes.
rock.
Yes, because, at that time I was listening to like Eminem, Dr. Dre, whatever was on the radio.
There's no...
there's a little bit of like, that, but not...
Synthesized guitar.
Yes. So it's funny. So in the guitar case, I see like all those songs from that time period when I was trying to learn tab, like, like Black Sabbath, Iron Man. I was trying to think of like what are the most popular. Dun 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 dun. So I'm sitting here looking at the tab, and I'm like, okay. So I go for that one. I think you go the 7th fret over, and then you slide it to I want to say the 11th fret.
I had a hard time. Yeah. My brother plays guitar. My brother's a very, very good guitar player. He's got about 7 electric guitars. And, excuse me. And he got into it. I once asked him, I said, where did this come from? Out of nowhere.
Wow.
And he said he was watching Dave Letterman one night, and when they cut to a commercial, there's usually that 10-second outro. And also the intro coming back from a commercial where the band plays.
Yeah.
And he got so tired of looking at the band, it just happened to be the Paul Schaefer band. It could have been any band.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's nothing against their band. It was nothing like that. But he got so fed up comparing himself to these band members, and in his mind, this is what he told me. His mind was, I'm as smart as these guys and girls in the band. Why can I not learn how to do what they're doing to make these machines talk?
Ooh, shots fired.
Shots fired. And,
against that band.
And he literally went out and he bought a guitar and he taught himself how to play. And 7 guitars later, he's and about 12. We're about 12, 13 years now, and he's an accomplished guitar player now. But
yes,
I went to his house in Delray, Florida, and I go there every time.
Shout out to Dean Delray.
Dean Delray. I will perform 35 sets a night. But so I went to my brother's place, and he set up a left-handed guitar for me. He restrung.
Oh, are you southpaw?
I'm a lefty. He restrung one of his guitars, knowing that I was coming out to visit, and I tried to play, and he's sitting right in front of me, showing me everything to do.
Yeah.
And I could not get my last knuckle of my fingers to go perpendicular to the fretboard.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into piano. That's how I've started for piano. Piano now is 5.5 years.
Your pinky was just like
Could not get it. I
could
could not get the turnaround underneath the thing and then meet the fretboard perpendicular.
See,
because otherwise, if you meet it flat, you're going to hit the other string.
Yeah.
So I
will tell you this. Like, so.
Go ahead.
Oh, I don't want to interrupt.
No. I actually interrupted you with the guitar thing, but how you were attempting to get into guitar and slide the 7th.
Yes. So it was like, I guess it was 7th, or it might have been. It was like you start with 7th, bomb, and then you slide over to like the 10th.
That's for that specific song.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For Iron Man.
No, for every song.
And then you go do do do. So I'm looking at the tab and I'm going, okay. They have those little. If your guys are looking at a guitar, you'll know when you look down, there's the little dot that tells you this is the 5th fret.
Yeah.
This is the, I want to say 7th fret.
Mm-hmm.
This is the 12th or whatever. So so I'm looking down. I'm trying to do the thing, and then I'm going back and forth between that and the printed paper I'd printed out from tablature.com from 2001. And my son just grabs the guitar and just does it.
He's
not even looking at the.
Some people they just have a thing.
And he does it on the keyboard. He does it on the keyboard. Yes.
And he never took a lesson.
No, he did take a lesson. He took a lesson, but he I think he just can hear a song and then go over there and like we were playing Bruce Springsteen dance. Was it Dancing in the Dark? Do 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 do.
That's Dancing in the Dark. Yep.
Yeah, it's like
name that tune.
I know. Name the tune that gets me taken off YouTube.
Right.
No.
Right.
I would play music on here, but
I
then
do not own this song.
I know.
I love when people write that.
I do not own. Yeah, no shit. No shit.
No shit, Joe Schulman in Teaneck, New Jersey, living in your mother's basement.
Yeah, it's Mozart,
I promise you're not receiving royalties for this song.
I do not own this song.
It's an Allman Brothers song.
Yeah. Dude,
I love that.
I actually do own my own like comedy albums. I should put them up. Oh, they're already up there, I think. And I should like cat's out of the bag on that. But you guys don't listen to it for free. Throw me a $9 and get it off iTunes or Amazon. But yeah.
Right.
So then I think like the not the record company, but I did it through CD Baby. I think they put it up. Mm-hmm. They put up my own comedy albums. And so I think I get a little royalty off of it.
Do you ever get anything? Do you?
I don't know, man. Off YouTube, I think you gotta. I mean, come on, you gotta like hit millions of views on that. But because the reason I know that, is one of my episodes, maybe like the 4th or 5th one, I used to open up the show with this Freckles song. Freckles, I got them freckles, girl, all over my body, which is unreleased. I haven't put that album out yet. I haven't put that song out yet. I'm gonna put that on a comedy album. But I was like, I know, I'll play my theme song, and it's off of I want to say that Ginger's crazy. It's like, it's Darren Carter. It's Darren Carter. How many comedians got their own theme song? It's by a rapper named Big Fluff Nico Lantern. So that is on one of my albums. And because I put that song up, even like 20 seconds of it, it got flagged.
Are you serious?
Yeah, on YouTube, where they're like, copyright owner infringement. They go, you're not in trouble, but you will not be able to monetize this video. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I won't be putting up that song.
It's unbelievable that they pick it up that quick.
You know what it is? I think there's like a digital thumbprint. I think that's the way that you're able to, go Shazam or you Google, what song is this? I think there's like a thumbprint that's like, it must know somehow.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It really is fascinating.
Isn't it?
Yeah. You said something I thought was pretty. Oh, do you integrate your songs in your stand-up? Because from what I remember, I've seen you many times.
Yeah.
I mean, I see you do a lot of interesting things on stage, but I don't really recall you actually doing a full song. Or
I used to okay. So back in the MySpace days, a fan who we've since become friends, and that can happen. That can happen to you too, Pocket Party podcast listeners, and it has, right?
All you have to do is apply for a membership card.
And you two can be our friend. No, but they are friends because I think the lines are blurred now between fans and friends. It's
absolutely.
Like, totally. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, come on. And I talked to I'm going to get back to that song question. I'm crossing my fingers, so I'll put a pin in that. But
okay.
Ari Shafir had told me that. I go, what's it like when so many people know who you are from listening to your podcast, but you don't know them? And he goes, it's great. Because it's great. Because that way, when I meet them, they already know me. It's like we already have this instant boom. It's like fine. It's awesome. Which I get. It's like, So back in the MySpace days, I had a fan. His name is Nicholas Boydston, and he goes by Big Fluff Nico Lantern. Now since then, I think he changed his name to another name. Shout out to you. What's up, Big? But I know him as Big Fluff. But he goes, hey, can I do a theme song for your show, for your comedy show? And I said, sure. So he sent it to me. I go, it's really good. It's only 90 seconds. I go, can you make it just a little bit longer? And he said yes. And so I put it on one of my albums, and he and whenever I would go to the Midwest, he would come out to my shows and rap the song. When he even physically would come out on stage,
that's cool.
And rap along to the record and bring me up. How many comedians got their own? It's out there, guys. You can hear it. The Darren Carter theme song. But it was great, man. And then so what I would do is, even, like when I would tour, that would be my intro song, and I would kind of like lip sync along. No, I would rap over with the microphone. I wouldn't lip sync it, but
okay.
So it's funny because some of the lyrics are like, he's got on, homeboy, what's it go? Something about from BET to low budget movies, and I was like, really? Do I got to be in a low budget movie? But, but it was hilarious though. But yeah, so, but I found what I would do is if that kind of kept making me go down a certain path of material. So I stopped doing it because I would go from that to like whatever joke it would.
Right.
And I felt like I didn't like doing that. I was like, it was really awesome for a couple of years, but I was like, I don't like being tied to this set of material because I'm not growing. And I'm also like, I think it would open up the show with the, like he's a rapper, he's a hip hop, especially, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be like that. I want it to,
Right. No, I agree. That does make a lot of sense.
Because it was a turnoff for people who weren't into hip hop, or they were, you know what I mean? It was kind of, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, and I guess you sort of want to also stay within the, I don't know if this is the proper word, paradigm or something. I might have the wrong word, of conventional stand-up. In other words, telling funny stories. I
love telling funny stories, and it's the best. See, I play off of my family a lot nowadays. Like, my wife will say something funny, and I'm just like, oh, that's going right into the act. It's hilarious.
Yeah, your act...
I'm so lucky to have a funny family.
Your act has morphed so differently. I remember watching you 13 years ago, 14 years ago. It's so different now.
How much did tickets cost to come see me back then? Just kidding.
Back then it was we'll pay you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Excuse me, can you come off the street?
Come on, get in here. I need
We'll give you $1.50 if you listen to this guy. It's only 17 minutes. But no, seriously.
And that's because he runs the light.
Right.
It's a 10-minute spot.
Right. No, but your act has really morphed in the last years, because I've seen you quite a bit at Flappers and Improv and Haha and some shout out to all these clubs who don't use me but I've noticed that the act has become more of a straight stand-up thing. But I will say one thing: you have developed an interesting ability over the last few years to make it look as though you're off the top of your head.
Yeah.
That you're doing this off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Is that something you're actually doing?
Sometimes it's off the top of the head, and sometimes
it's written material.
It's written. But you know what, though? Honestly, it's like if you look at that video that I put up on YouTube, the Darren Carter channel, there's that 55-minute set, the one that's almost an hour.
Yep.
Yeah, that was just, I was literally, I knew that I was going to do a bit about, I guess I knew I was going to do a bit about, but I knew I was going to do a bit about dating online versus dating, because I got married, I've been married 20 years. I'll be 21 in August. And to put that in perspective,
if there were a lot of people in this room right now, we'd all be clapping.
Yeah, and to put that in perspective, I got married in the 1900s, so it was totally different back then.
Yeah,
So, in other words, I knew that I was going to do a thing about how people meet on Bumble and Tinder, and they have Uber to bring the girls to them and Lyft to send them home, or whatever the jokes are. And I said, but I remember
great joke.
Cruising. Thank you. Cruising was a big deal back then, where you'd go cruising in your car. And so I knew I was going to get into that. And I knew I was going to tell the story about the time that my buddy, we saw these girls at a stoplight, and he was like, ask them where the party's at. And I knew, but I did not know that I was going to improvise that, on that footage on YouTube, where I have the people ask, in their voice, hey, where's the party? Where's the party? Where's the party? Or whatever the heck.
Right.
That was all improvised.
That was very
totally
funny.
off and that's why I think it's really funny, because I didn't know where I was going with it.
Right.
And at the same time, I didn't really care, because if it doesn't go anywhere, that's okay. I'll go back to my
the
act.
next stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where the real, genuine, funny, it's just live, man. I saw the funniest thing the other night. Jimmy Brogan, one of Jay Leno's best friends. He used to cast The Tonight Show. He was on stage at the Comedy Magic Club, and he asked this guy, and what do you do for a living, sir? And the guy goes, I'm a bartender. Oh, and what's your favorite drink to make, sir? I like to make an old fashioned. And just like clockwork, as if you said go, cue the old man. The oldest guy in the building just came back from the bathroom, and he shuffled right in front of the stage. And Jimmy looks at him and he goes, well, speaking of old fashioned. And dude, it was so funny, because everyone laughed from the moment he said that till the man sat down in his chair. The guy had a great sense of humor too, the old guy.
Right.
And
Jimmy's phenomenal.
And then Jimmy's good, because he's an old. Jimmy's, I don't know how old he is, but he's in his, I don't know, 60s.
I would say 60s.
Jimmy made a little joke. It's a little self-deprecating joke. He goes, how about a hand for my younger brother?
Right. No, he. I believe. Excuse me. I believe there's nobody better at crowd work than Jimmy Brogan.
So somebody who's might be a skeptic might go, oh, that might be a thing he does every night. He says, what do you do for a living? I make old fashions, and then have this guy stand and. But it's not.
He's off the top of.
He's off the top, and real good comedy. I find that I love those spontaneous moments. Where you're just like.
I would say he is the best. I mean, he's sort of known as the best crowd work comic in
he's
the
up
country.
there, man. Ian Bagg is amazing too.
Ian Bagg is great.
Some of these guys are just so good. Jimmy Pardo, I guess.
Jimmy Pardo, but I really think Jimmy Brogan is the shaman.
Yes.
Although I have a hard time seeing the word shaman in front of the name Jimmy Brogan, but
for me, I also like to have real material that I can rely on, so I can. When I can do like a corporate event, or I can put a special out or do an album. So I'm like, oh, I can't wait to tell these stories, because
absolutely. I
used to riff so much, and then at the end of the week, you kill on the week on the road, and then you come back and be like, yeah,
I don't know what I said.
What did I say?
Right.
Or it'd be like, I used to do stuff when you said with music. I used to do this bit where I would say like, hi ladies, I'm Darren. You could call me Darren. And then I'd say like, do you like trees? Let me give you some of this redwood. And then I would try to like show guys like, hey, I'm gonna show you what it's like to be Darren. And then I'd have them, cue the Marvin Gaye music, but then I have to rely on the music, and and if the crowd if they're good, it works. But if they're duds, I mean, one time I learned my lesson. I was in Atlanta in an all-black nightclub, and I went on way too long with that. The crowd wasn't feeling it, and they just started talking, and I felt like a substitute teacher up there. It was like,
it
was bad.
That I've always loved playing black audiences, and because there is no truer barometer,
right?
Excuse me, once again, of how well you're doing. The one thing about black audiences, because to me, white audiences will bullshit you, okay? Whereas black audiences, they will let you know in realistically about 45 seconds to a minute and a half.
Realistically,
okay, if you're going to be able to stay on that stage for the 20 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour, whatever the hell time.
Yeah.
But there's no better audiences on the planet, because if they like you,
oh yeah,
the laughs they're exponential. They will give it up to you so well.
I took an acting class once, and we talked about that. In a sense, we were talking about showing joy, like you said, black audiences show joy like tremendously.
Yeah,
white audiences we do, but it's like it's a difference.
It's much different.
It's so
much
different. It's like know what I mean? Like what's the word I'm looking for? I think in acting class they were talking about how the old school white people were like Puritans or whatever. Like, oh, we're going to be very prim and proper, and we're Puritans, and and it's interesting. Like, I mean, you're right. If you can get that, standing ovations, like,
it's
amazing.
They will give it up.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
And also, if they're not going to give you the courtesy laugh, really.
That's exactly it. They will give it up, and I've done a decent amount in New Jersey and certain places in Connecticut. And it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
It really is a pleasure, because if they don't like you, then it really does make you go backstage after that spot and go, all right, what did I do wrong here? Because
that's what I did.
Because 140 people or 240 cannot be all wrong.
Because that riffing bit that I went way, way, way too long, I realized I went way too long, and also
you committed the crime.
Yes, it was me. It was 100% me. Yep. I could not blame the crowd, because it was me. I was like. I would be like, ask her if she likes trees, and then it just went on too long, and it's like,
I was talking with a comic the other night. He was walking by my office, and somehow, some way, it got to the conversation.
Wait, I'm sorry. That's a Snoop Dogg lyric.
Somehow, some way,
every single day, I be cracking them backs. Yeah.
So, and somehow, some way, the conversation came up, and he said these words, and I quote, "It's never me, it's always the audience." And I said, absolutely 180 degrees incorrect.
Oh.
Okay. I said, if you have a bad show, it's always the audience?
Yeah.
I said, you really feel that way? And he goes, yes, it's always the audience. It's never me. And I said, how long you doing this? And he said, I said something like, I did it like 10, 15 times in my life. And
he's not a real...
Oh, he's not even doing it.
No. Okay.
And
you're wrong.
Right. And then, so when he said that, I said, well, right off the bat, I know you don't have much experience in this, because if you're going to blame the audience, I'm a very big believer in this mathematical equation, and just stay with me on this for a second. If one person does not like me, Dean Larit, I don't like that guy. He's a piece of shit. But I don't like him. Blah blah blah. I can live with that. No problem. If 100 people say something about me, then I have to start looking at what I'm doing wrong. What am I giving out to people? What's the vibe that's causing 100 people to go, nah, keep them away? So it's the same concept with this guy telling me that I couldn't believe he said this. He goes, it's always the audience, Dean. It's not me. And I said, no, it is absolutely you.
Wow.
And Jerry Seinfeld would have said it exactly that way to him and go, you couldn't be further from the truth. You couldn't be further from the truth. So that's why I'm.
That's a good Seinfeld. This is like the bootleg version of
comedians in cars.
Yeah, this is comedians on couches. One's drinking coffee.
Right.
And the one's just looking.
One's drinking water. Right. And it's 100 degrees outside. So,
and I'm pretending I'm with Jerry.
Right.
Thanks for having me on your show, Jerry.
No, seriously. I mean, it's not the. It's always you. It's not the audience. But no, that's exactly in my opinion what a guy like Seinfeld would say. He'd go, you could not have gotten it any more wrong. It is always you.
Yeah.
You know, if it's going to be you when you collect the big money, then it's going to be you when you fall on your face.
I would say there are exceptions.
There
though,
are
you know,
audiences that are just tired.
I know. The air conditioning
They're
doesn't work.
tired.
It's been
That's
a
it.
long show.
You
or
got
it's
the
a-
check spot. You
Yeah.
got the check spot where they hand out the checks.
It's a weird corporate gig where they're
Absolutely,
like, you
that
know,
can happen, but not
Yes, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
not
But
collectively
yeah.
where the
If you're doing show after show,
entire
I know.
audience,
Yeah.
okay, bails on you. If the entire audience is bailing on you, there's a chance you've probably crossed the line or something. Because there's usually, George Wallace once said to me, Dane Larit, 50% of the audience going to like you, 50% of the audience going to hate you. Now, I never agreed with him on that. I even said that to him. I said, George, 50-50? It's going to be a 50-50 split at the end? And he goes, that's what it's going to come down to. And I was like, well, I don't know about it. I would say 89-11.
Yeah.
You know, 89-11 is my percentage. You know, but he said, from his experience, 50-50, which I don't know how many comics would feel comfortable with that percentage. I don't know if Jerry Seinfeld would agree with 50-50. Enjoy his set.
You never know. Yeah,
But whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But we digressed into something else. Getting back. Oh yeah. So we were going to talk about. You and I were discussing what we wanted to talk about. So have you been taking my cues and listening to Springsteen the way
I love Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
It's like I mean, I remember like the songs growing up, like in high school, like in the '80s. You know, what songs were popular back then? I remember like "Glory Days."
Glory Days was off the Born in the USA album.
Love "Glory Days." Like that was probably the first album that I'd heard of. Right, that was on popular radio for a teenager living on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what's hilarious because I like sometimes I'll be in my hotel room, you know, listening to Bruce Springsteen and
I just thought when you said living on the West Coast, I was going to go in a dungeon.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. So you were saying Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, like I'll be, you know, and I would like listen to him on like Spotify or something, or you know, Pandora or whatever. And then, but now I've been watching listening to the concerts on YouTube. But I will say this. I remember like whenever like Glory Days would pop up, it's weird because now I'm reminiscing about being in high school listening to Glory Days, which is a song about reminiscing growing up. It's so like
such a great
so meta,
song.
Man.
Such a great song.
It really is, right?
Now,
like I was walking in, she was walking out, or whatever. He was walking out.
Yeah. I was walking in, he was walking out. We went back inside, sat down, had a few drinks, but only kept talking about Glory Days. Yeah, he's the best. Darren,
Where were you when you first heard Glory Days?
Truthfully, you want to know the truth?
That's funny.
A guy came out around the corner from my house with his brand new Camaro Z28 and his Alpine or Blaupunk stereo system. I think it was a Blaupunk, and he had it blasting as it was a beautiful day when that album was released, and he just zipped right to my in front of my where I grew up on the street. And he goes, you got to hear this, man. He goes, I got the new album, blah, blah, blah. And he put on Born in the USA and the actual song itself. And we were just sitting there in his car listening to it in his Camaro Z28. And this was 1984. And it was just amazing. Now you know that I've hung with Bruce a few times.
Yeah, let's get to that, but let's go back to the entry level Bruce Springsteen. I'm telling you, like Born in the USA, that was like one of the biggest smash hits.
That was
in the
his
80s.
biggest money maker
like
of all
the
time.
jeans and like the bandana and the Born in the USA. I mean, it was just like
the power of that show.
Wow.
Because he would open with that song.
Wow.
He opened with that, so he'd come on stage and good evening, Los Angeles, and then next to 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, it was insane. It was absolutely insane.
Keep going. Dun,
Nah,
dun, dun. Is that how it went? Dun,
and then he would get into
Born down in
a dead man's town. The first kick I took is when I hit the ground. And it was just amazing, but those were great shows. But I got a chance. Remember, I've been following him since '79, so we're pushing almost 40.
See, I don't think I knew who he was before that. No. You know what? I will take this back. I know. I'm not to interrupt, but I will.
No. Go ahead.
Because I want to.
You probably signed on the river.
Yes. No. I remember hearing Elmer Fudd. I remember hearing Robin Williams doing an Elmer Fudd impression of
Bruce
Fire.
Springsteen. Right.
But I think he might have been on the Pointer Sisters, right?
My car.
Driving in my car, I turn on the radio. Remember? Right. I pull you a little closer, but you say no. You say you don't like it. I call you a wire.
Right.
But when we kiss,
Right.
Fire.
That's great, man.
Did the Pointer Sisters cover that song?
The Pointer Sisters covered it, and the Pointer Sisters covered it, and who else covered Fire? I can't remember who else covered it. No, I'm thinking of Because the Night was the other guy. Patti Smith covered Because the Night. But
who sang Blinded by the Light? Was that
Manfred Mann?
And that's from the 70s?
Manfred Mann, and he's the one.
Wait, who came up with it first?
Bruce wrote it.
That's okay. So the
Bruce
version that I
Blinded
first,
by the Light.
but I might know Manfred Mann singing it, right?
Yeah. That's that's a really amazing version. It really is. Anybody out there that's listening should hit that Manfred Mann Blinded by the Light on YouTube. It's an absolutely amazing version. And now here's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen was not able to take that song to number 1. Was it number 1 or top 10? I think it's number 1. He was not able to take that song, his own song, to number 1, but Manfred Mann was.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That happened with my wife's one of her favorite singers, who you kind of resemble a little bit, Rick Springfield.
Oh, yeah.
Rick Springfield. You've heard that before?
Sure.
Yeah. And
they call me Bruce.
Yes,
Bruce,
exactly. So Rick Springfield had a song. No, I want to say Sammy Hagar wrote a song, and he couldn't get it to go up there and become popular. And then when Rick covered it, it was like way up there. I don't know how high, but it went. It might have been "Don't Talk to Strangers." I don't know. I really don't. Is that the song?
That is his song.
It is. But there's a song that I don't remember the Sammy Hagar one.
I don't know who covered it.
Whatever. He covered a Sammy Hagar song, and it was like. That's what's cool, right? Imagine like if we could write jokes, then somebody could take those jokes and get them further than we
Right.
do.
Right. That sucks.
I mean, sometimes it happens unwillingly. You're right? It sucks. But I'm saying, what if we actually still held on to like something of it, you know?
Right. But so I followed this guy since '79. No, I fired him. He never had a job. I started on board with Springsteen and the E Street Band in '79. I was catching, I think it was late '79, early '80s. It was a river tour in Jersey and Nassau Coliseum. I saw him New Year's Eve in 1980.
Wow.
New Year's Eve 1980. I paid $12.50 for a ticket. I still have my ticket stub in my wallet from 1980. And
hey, we should probably, if you keep that in your wallet, what if your wallet gets lost or stolen? You'd be really depressed.
Yeah,
maybe don't keep it in your wallet.
Maybe for a few minutes I'd be depressed. No, I'm kidding.
For
a few minutes. But
I would never carry anything that valuable.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe I should
put it in the safe deposit box.
Okay.
Or someplace.
No, so I've been on board this, with Bruce and the E Street Band for so long. And
so by the time you heard Born in the USA, you'd already knew who he was.
I would already been following this guy for a long time. And, I would use the Born to Run album, which is a sort of a white album cover with Bruce, with a picture of Bruce and Clarence side by side, and we used to roll joints using the Born to Run album because it was a white album for the most, but about 90% of it was white.
Except for Clarence's part.
Right. No, but it was a white album for the most
cold,
part.
Man, that's cold.
That's very cold, man. But we would. I remember we would always roll joints on Born to Run album or the Beatles White album, but. So I've been following this guy for 40 years. I've tried so many times to meet him, and finally, I've gotten a chance over the last 10 years since April 8th, 2008. I have hung with him 3 times now for a total of about 5.5 hours. My buddy Louis Matoya is a guitar player. He's played with everybody all over the world, and just really phenomenal player, and just a great guy.
Does he play guitar from ear music, or does he go on tab.com like I do?
He goes from the 7th fret to the 12th fret, and he makes
this-
sure he has a lot of dots. He puts a
the
few
dots.
extra dots.
So he can see the dots.
Yes, he has a
and
few
he gets
extra
them on
dots.
web TV.
Right. Now, he's a phenomenal guitar player, and he was kind enough to bring me backstage and in Anaheim. And
After the concert?
After the concert.
Wow.
And Bruce was just amazing. We hung out here's the kicker. My friend Lewis, who's friends with Bruce for many years, he had to go home. His kids had to get to sleep, and they had to go to school in the morning. Blah blah blah. And so I said to Lewis, "Oh, you're leaving now?" I said, "Does that mean I have to leave? We have to." "No, hang out with Bruce. Don't worry about it." And we hung out, and there was a few people. There was quite a few people left. I would say there was about 9, 10 other people there. Edward Burns, the actor.
Who?
Edward Burns, the
wow.
actor. Chad Lowe, Rob's brother, was in the room, and we were all having a great time. But Bruce was kind enough, to let me hang, and just had great conversations with him about his music and that specific show that he just finished.
Is it kind of funny back there because you don't want to come across as an Uber fan?
No, you
but
have
you kind of.
yeah,
but you want to be. You don't want to be like I'm too cool for school. You want to be interested.
Right.
It's like a funny way to react. to act.
There is a balance
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a very surreal moment
Mm-hmm.
when you're meeting somebody at that level, but you just saw them in front of 22,000 people
Yes.
in the arena, and the whole audience was screaming for them, and now you're sitting on a couch with that person,
just like we are right now.
like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and so it's
You have your VIP sticker with you?
no, but so it was a very surreal moment because when Lewis introduced me, I found out at the beginning, very shy in the beginning.
Yeah.
Springsteen, very shy, and then he warmed up a little bit. But just a super, super nice guy. And I was getting ready to leave, and he had pulled out a bottle of Patron Gold tequila. And I was like, look at it. I was with my friend John, and I said, hey, we should take off now rather than being asked later on to leave, kind of thing. So we're getting ready, and Bruce pulls out a bottle of Patron Gold, and he goes, "Hey, everybody, come on, gather around. We're gonna do a shot, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Hey, Bruce, I got to drive back to Studio City." And he goes, "So you'll stick around a little bit longer. You'll stick around." He goes, "But you're going to do a shot." And I was like, "All right, I guess if, Bruce Springsteen wants me to do a shot, me and John to do a shot, we got to do a shot." So we hung out, and but this is how cool the guy was, and still is. At the end of the night, it was really becoming closing time. It was about 1:30, 1:45 in the morning, and I walked over and I said, "Bruce, thank you so much, man. I had a really great time, and thanks for allowing me to come back. Hey, man, any friend of Lewis's is a friend of mine, man. And look at us, man, 2 East Coast guys sitting here in the middle of Orange County, And he was just super cool. And I said, yep, that's correct, man. And listen, I want to thank you. I didn't know I was going to meet you here tonight. I ran into Lewis before the show started, and he made the phone call and got us backstage, and So one thing leads to another, and he's looking at me, waiting for my next sentence. And I said, I'm flying across country. This is a true story. I'm flying across country, and we're blindfolding my mother, and we are surprising her. And you're playing on my mother's 70th birthday. And he goes, where am I playing? And I said, you're in Fort Lauderdale at the Bank One Center. He goes, oh, man, great room, great sound, man, great sound. And I said, yeah, I've seen you there before. It was great shows and blah, blah, blah. And he said, your mom liked me? And I go, she loves you, man. I said, but, what choice do the parents have, man? We're blasting the music as kids. And he goes, oh, man, I never thought about that. That's the reason the parents like me, man, because
So
the kids
cool.
are blasting it.
Yeah.
He goes, I never really gave that a thought, but now you say that. That makes a lot of sense. So one thing leads to another. And he goes, how old's your mom going to be? And I said, 70. And he goes, oh, that's great. And I thought it was going to go nowhere. I thought it was just going to be, hey, man, drive home safe, and I'm going to hope to give you a great show in Lauderdale for your mom and dad. And I was maybe thinking that he would say, what's your mom's name? What's the family name? And I'm going to, dish out a song and her favorite song, and I'll put it in my little journal, and I'll make sure it gets out to you guys that night. That would have been amazing. But instead, he looks at me, and I'll never forget, he he looks down at the ground because he's a little shy when he speaks, and he says, "Hey, man," and he stutters with a little bit. He goes, "How you gonna celebrate your mom's birthday correctly if you don't bring her backstage to hang out?" And I just looked at him, and I was like, "You're kidding me, right?" And he goes, "No, man, you want to hang out or not?" He goes, "I think it would be great, man. Bring your mom back on her birthday." And I was like, "Bruce, you would do that?" And he goes, "Absolutely." He goes, "What's the difference? You're here now, man. What's the difference?" And I said, "I just want to let you know you're going to have a crazy Jewish woman on your hands." And he goes, "Won't be the first time, won't be the last time."
Nice.
He goes, "I've been at this a long time, brother." So one thing leads to another. He puts us on. He got us connected.
So cool.
He got us connected with his guy outside in the innards of backstage. He introduced me to a guy named Wayne, and Wayne was kind enough to give me his number, and he said, "Just call me the day before, and we'll take care of it." And then we all went backstage. He sang "Happy Birthday" to my mother.
Oh, so cut to.
So cut to April. Cut to here's
how many months went by?
This is a sort of a sad part of the story, but not enough to bring down anybody in the podcast. April 18th was my mother's birthday. Okay, 70 years of age. On April 17th, Bruce's keyboard player Dan Federici passes away. So the 18th show was canceled. Okay, not because Dan was no longer playing in the band because of his sickness or because of his illness. So, but they honored it anyway. Bruce was not in the mood to play the next day, and blah blah blah. So they moved the concert up to May 2nd. So I was already in Florida. I get news that he passes away and that the concert was canceled. And so we ended up going. I flew back to L.A., worked as a chiropractor, did my thing, and then went back to Florida May 1st or something like that, or April 30th. And May 2nd, it was rescheduled, and Bruce didn't forget. They took care of it for us. There were VIP passes waiting at the will call.
Wow,
and,
that's so good, because there would have been part of me that's like, what if I call with this or text Wayne or whatever, and then they're like, what? Who?
Right.
Bruce was just
right.
being nice. He drinks. He drinks.
Right. When he drinks, he gives out fake offers. right.
You're going back like
you should see him at the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Everyone's going backstage.
Right. These fuckers.
I know. That's good.
But no, so he brought us backstage and we hung out. He sang "Happy Birthday" to my mother.
Wow.
And,
did you film it at all?
No. See, that would be the fan doing that. I wanted to be the friend more. I wanted to be that guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's the mom. I think it's acceptable when it's the mom.
But I know what
you're saying. There's the
I mean,
hey, can I film my mom?
Right.
Hey, Bruce, can you do me a favor? Can you start again with "Happy Birthday"? But do it in C. Play it in C. Okay.
And can you give a shout out to my friend Darren Carter's podcast?
And can you talk about the pocket party? Because it's gonna come to life in 10 years from now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, it was 2000. It was 19. Yeah. It was 2008.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this was all 2008.
What's a podcast?
Right. So he sang "Happy Birthday." And we had a great time. And then I've hung with him 2 other times ever since. And they're always 2-hour spots because he gets off stage and his adrenaline is so shot that he needs to chill for a couple of hours after he takes a shower and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, I've met a lot of people out here, as you have too. I've met a lot of celebrities, whether they've been lying on my table, chiropractic table. Some of them are lying on my couch right now. I've met a lot of celebrities out here, big, huge megastar celebrities. I haven't met anybody as cool as Bruce Springsteen. And that was my Bruce Springsteen story I wanted to talk about. The other thing I wanted to talk about...
Can we keep talking Bruce for a little bit?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, guys, if you're not into these Bruce stories, just fast forward it, because I want to talk. Because this is like I love Bruce Springsteen, and it's like it's so cool to have someone else that knows like Bruce. And put your phone down. Do you need to take that phone call?
No. I'm just looking. No,
okay,
absolutely
sorry.
not. No.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
You made a grimace, like, oh no.
Oh no, because I'm going in my office in a little bit. That's why. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. Cool. I was like, let's keep it going.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like. Okay, so I knew the hits. I knew Born to Run and Dancing in the Dark and Born in the USA and all the songs, Glory Days, the songs that you hear on the radio, and Philadelphia. But what I didn't know is like the song called Growing Up.
Oh, phenomenal.
guys, go to YouTube and watch him sing Growing Up. Because what I like about Bruce Springsteen is not just the songs, the way he's singing at these live concerts, but these stories, the stories leading up to these songs.
And the breaks in the song that he tells the story. So, folks, the one you want to type in if you're interested is Growing Up and type in 2016 Foxborough Stadium. That's where he gives a really good, touching story as to this guitar that he wanted for $18. That he was gonna, bust his ass working.
Yeah, tell us a little bit of the story.
No. I mean, it's just him, saying. So, I saw this guitar, and it was $18, and I had to do something that I would never, ever, ever do again. Work. I work. He goes, work. Yeah. And he said, I tarred this woman's house, her roof. I tarred her roof. She gave me 50 cents an hour. My aunt and uncle across the street. Yep. I did their shears. I did their lawn. He taught my uncle Walter taught me how to, I think Warren or Walter taught me how to shear his bushes or whatever. And I got 50 cents. And when I hit the $18 mark, I quit the only normal, honest work job I would ever have in my entire life.
And the crowd's like, yeah.
And they go crazy. They go crazy as they have to go to work 9 to 5 in the morning.
Yeah, they're like, yeah. And he got the guitar.
And he got the guitar.
A cousin or somebody showed him some
He got the
chords
guitar, and he sounded like shit, he said. And his cousin was like, you have to tune it. You have to tune the guitar. So his cousin came over, his cousin Frankie came over and taught him how to tune the guitar. And he said, and it still sounded like shit. And he said, but I practiced, and I practiced, and I practiced, and and he kept going on. He must have said practice 17 times.
He says it so many times where he really drives that point home.
He drives the point home.
He goes 10,000 hours.
Much more than 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. And the word on Springsteen.
And it still sounded like.
And it's still no. And then he goes. And then one day it went
we're
like.
We're gonna say the one.
The story with Bruce is that, according to Stevie and his and other friends and Bruce himself, Bruce said he did 8 hours a night of guitar in his house as a kid. 8 hours a day when he got home from school.
Yeah.
And any other time we couldn't sleep or something, it was immediately with the guitar.
I can see that, because even with my own son, with me, okay, it's guitar time. Right. I pull out my papers, and that's not how you get good. You get better, doing a little. No, we have the keyboards out. When he's done with what he's eating breakfast and doing whatever he's doing, then he walks over and he starts tinkering with it and playing with it and jamming. And sometimes he's up there playing before we are, and in between meals, or when he's done doing the works or something that he has to do. What's that? You gotta.
No, go ahead.
Your mouth is right up to the mic. If you're going to whisper, you're going to ask me a question.
Oh, no.
Did you need to take a break or something?
Could we break for a sec?
Can we break for a second? Yes.
There was a pausability?
Yes. Hold on. 1,000 hours, 10,000 hours. He practiced. And then he goes like this. And he goes, until one day I was able to do.
And then all of a sudden he goes, and which people will see on YouTube, he goes, and one day it sounded like, and he just goes right into the chord. And it's a powerful chord. Okay, and then it goes into, I took month-long vacations in the stratosphere, and it's really hard to hold your breath. I think that the guy is the greatest lyricist. I know there are people that'll say Dylan and all that stuff.
No. Bruce, and what does he say about I was because you're picturing this.
I was a cosmic kid.
Yeah, because you're picturing like a kid pretending like playing rock star with the hairbrush and the mirror and the guitar and it just takes everybody back to that the hope of what if one day I do this, or the dream of becoming something.
Right.
And takes everyone back there to the dream, not to where when things don't work out all the time, but the dream of it's gonna. And what's great about being in the audience when he says that, the only honest way, you're like, yes, you did do it. You had the dream and you did it. We support you. And yes, this is awesome.
Yeah, he's look, I've seen him 60 times, which is not that much for some people. Some people have seen him 140, 150. I've seen him 60 times. But I will say one thing. Most of those people who've seen him double me or triple me haven't hung with him for 6 hours.
That's right.
They would cash in a lot of those shows.
All those, those interesting, great stories that he tells. I think he must tell different stories sometimes too with these songs, huh?
He's pretty much on point with there is sort of a congruence and a continuity of his songs. I mean, it would sort of suck if you went to one concert on a Friday in Portland and he goes, so I was talking to this rabbi And the rabbi said, well, you got to tune the guitar. Okay, and if you tune it, and then next night he goes, so my cousin came over, and he goes, well, you got to tune the guitar. You know what I mean? That would sort of suck. No, he's always had.
No, I'm not saying that the actual yeah, he's just bullshitting.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah. This guy sucks.
Right. Wait a second. Last night you said it was a rabbi.
Now you're saying it was your brother.
Right. He doesn't you don't have a brother. We just Wikipedia'd you.
Yeah.
You know, so you're sitting in the audience going, "Does Bruce Springsteen have a brother?
Just googling this.
Has he ever met a rabbi?"
Fact check. No. What I'm saying is this.
What were you saying?
No. I'm saying I think he swaps out different stories, or he has different, because I heard him tell one story leading into a song.
You're thinking of The River, where he talks about his sister.
Yes.
See, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So there's two versions of that. The Bruce. Yeah, I'm such a student of this guy.
Should we hit pause and come back to this?
Hit pause for a sec.
Okay, you guys aren't going to even know that we hit pause, but yes. Remember, The River and the two stories. Okay, pause briefly. Oops, damn it. It's still playing. Oh, I got to what do I do? It's still recording. Maybe I can't hit pause.
Won't you come home, Bill Bailey? Won't you?
Hold on.
Are you literally taking off from The River right now, or you say we are back?
I'm going to let them know that we're back.
Oh, okay.
It's you got your water, you got everything?
I'm a water brother.
All right. What time did we stop recording? Do you remember?
Today?
Yeah.
We stopped at 5:05.
5:05, and so it's 6:05, 7:05, 8:05, 9:05, 10:05, 11:05. Okay, so guys, we're back. I said it's going to be a pause, and you won't even know. That was about 6 hours ago. Unbelievable. I've never had a guest. I've recorded, I want to say, in my lifetime, at least.
Well, you've worked with the Beatles.
Yes, the Beatles. I want to say, I've been on at least 400 podcasts, like either recorded myself. No, maybe not. That might be an exaggeration.
7?
Or maybe because I was a guest. Yeah, exactly, 7. I've never had a guest like stop midway through the podcast and be like, I got to get out of here. But that's how in demand you are, because he's a doctor. Dr. Dean is a chiropractor, and his phone went off, which I always tell guests, like, if you can, let's put it on silent. Let's not look at it. Adam Carolla, one of the most popular podcasters, has his own alcohol line, sells out theaters, does specials, has so many books. He goes, I don't even have my phone in the room with me when I do a podcast. By the way, I gotta saying that I gotta let me put my phone out of my sight. But but you're different though. You're a doctor. You're on call.
Right. And I had told you that I gotta be at the office at 5:30.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So
I'm sorry. I didn't. Maybe you did say that. I don't remember that.
I actually did.
Because I go block out 2 hours. Can you give me 2 hours? And you're like, yes.
Right. And but no, it worked out okay. It was only a 6-hour gap.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for No. We had fun though, and thank you for coming back to do this. The thing is,
coming back. It's my house.
Yes. No, allowing me to come back. Oh, can you turn the AC on?
Yeah,
I'm hot right now.
You getting hot already?
Yes, I'm getting hot.
I can do that. I just was worried that the noise of the air conditioning.
Oh no, the AC was on earlier today, right?
Okay, well,
I remember the fan was on. Don't forget the headphones.
That is wild stuff.
That is wild.
That is wild.
So
wild
be careful. Don't yank the cord out of the. Like he's gingerly walking over to the AC. Yeah, like a nice, cool studio.
That is wild stuff.
Cool studio. I love your studio.
It's a great little place, man.
He's like, this is my home, dude. We're back with the wealthy bachelor. But yes, so it was hilarious because I thought you were like, oh, I just need like 5 seconds to use the restroom. And you're like, I just got patients waiting for me. I was like, shit.
Yeah, I went till about 7:30.
But that's because you know why? Because he does Yelp reviews. As you heard on the last thing, you said those Yelp reviews didn't work like the first month or second month.
First 2.5 to 3 months, I was like, they beat me for a few dollars, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden my life changed on month 3 is where it really exploded. So Yelp's been good to me.
is it cost people a different amount every month, or is it?
Yeah, because I'm grandfathered in at a certain price per month, but I have friends that are paying $700, $800, $900 a month to be listed on Yelp, and works out. I just got lucky. Seriously, very few times in my life I've ever gotten lucky, and this was one of them. I was, I struggled for the first 7-8 years of my practice. You're struggling, and then all of a sudden you start building something up, and I built it up. And then it exploded because of Yelp, and this is not a shout out to Yelp. I'm not getting anything.
Hey, let me ask you a
saying
question.
Cut me off. Go ahead.
No. I want you to be less popular so you can like do my podcast more.
Okay.
Can I ask? Can I throw in like a bad review just every now and then? Just so you're not so busy.
No.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Don't do that. I'm actually trying to get to 200 reviews right now. 200 5-star reviews. That's what I'm trying. I got like 198. So Rems, if you're out there. Write something. So you said so.
Wait, let's circle back.
Yeah, let's circle back to where when we left off.
So where we left off, which is hilarious to the people listening. You're like, yeah, dipshits. We're in the middle of this podcast. Like,
yeah, but doesn't this theoretically just blend in?
What I'll do is I'll take the two files, like the first,
file from the afternoon, and then you're gonna just merge them together.
Yes,
right?
merge them. I wonder if I should do a transition where I can be like, guys, we took a break, and I'll just.
Nah,
they'll figure it out.
They'll figure this
out. Okay,
out.
So we were talking about...
Listen, those four people listening are going to be able to figure it out.
Those 4 people. Your two relatives and my 2 relatives.
My mother and father will definitely be able to
We'll just do a group text. Hey, y'all.
Yeah, the air conditioning will be coming on. It's just the thermostat, but it will, I promise. It will, I promise. Yeah. I can tell right now.
I believe you. So we were talking about this. I'll set you and I back up. Yes, we were talking. Oh, by the way, real quick before I forget, that's what's great about a break. I went home and I told my wife, I go, what was that Sammy Hagar song that he wrote and then Rick Springfield covered it and then it became successful.
What is it?
And I had the wrong song I said earlier. The song was, she goes, it's what I always say to you. I do everything for you. You do nothing for me. I do everything for you.
And that's Sammy Hagar?
You've done nothing for me. Yeah.
He wrote that and then...
he wrote that. And then and then he makes a joke. He says, yeah, because Rick Springfield's better looking. So it connected with people more.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Springfield had a great... one of his biggest hits was about Springsteen.
Yeah.
And the song is called They Call Me Bruce.
They call me Bruce.
And it's because way too many times people were coming over to him and going, oh, my God, you're the boss and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, I am not that guy.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And that's when he wrote the song, They Call Me Bruce.
He has another song called If Wishes Were Fishes.
And heard that one.
It just came out like a few years ago. And in that song, he also referenced, Bruce Springsteen again.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Okay.
It's cool.
So we were talking about Bruce.
So I was saying how I'm really loving these Bruce Springsteen concerts that I'm watching on YouTube. I'm not sitting there watching them on YouTube. I'll play them in the background
in the car,
as
you're driving.
For me, I'll do it when I'm in a hotel, like when I'm on the road and I can like just have them in the hotel room. And like for me, some of the concerts I like, you guys, are look up Bruce Springsteen. I want to say 1984 Toronto.
Toronto's supposed to be a great show.
Is that around?
That would be Born in the USA.
84, 85, yeah.
Yeah.
Great. That's a great one. It's so good. He's so talented.
Oh, he's the best.
I love that one. I like the one. What did I say I was listening to the other day? The one from Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden was a 2016 show. That was The River, and you called me to ask me.
So good.
Yeah, you called me to ask me if that's a River show.
Yeah.
And I explained, what he was doing. He was coming out and doing the entire album of The River, and then the last hour and a half of the show. So he does like 3 hours and 50 minutes.
So good.
And the last hour and a half of the show is just rocking, crazy stuff.
But yeah, what I noticed is it's not like he's doing the exact same stories leading into the songs. It's like on that River one, you knew right away. I go, yeah, because on one concert.
Right, because this is bringing us back to the Circumvent.
Yeah.
So there are 2 versions. You were referring to that the joke that you and I were saying was, I wonder if he keeps the continuity. And then I explained, well, of course he can't say one thing in Portland that one night and then in Dallas the next.
Growing up in
Tallahassee.
Yeah, Tallahassee, exactly. And then when he grows, wherever he's playing, he's a local. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll never forget growing up in North Hollywood High. You know, why am I doing Elvis? I don't know, but
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So he, I explained to you because you were slightly. I don't mean this in a bad way. You were slightly confused about this. So I'll rectify this for you. Or
not confused. I was admiring it.
Admiring it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the river, which most of you people out there, you have to be under a rock right now if you don't know what the river is. So the river, the song, was originally written for his sister, about his sister and his sister's husband. And Bruce didn't have any money to help out the quote-unquote sister and the sister's husband. He didn't have any money until he didn't see any money because he was involved in a court case over Born to Run and Darkness on the Edge of Town. So Bruce was broke. Bruce had no money. From Greetings from Asbury Park, Wild the Innocent, the E Street Shuffle, and Born to Run. People think Bruce Springsteen made a lot of money on Born to Run. He didn't make anything. He was stolen from by his manager, and he ended up in court. So he had no money. So, because I always used to think to myself, well, if you're writing this song about your sister on hard times with her husband, help her out, you know. But I realized that this guy had no money back then. So Pay Dirt for him came in the form of Born in USA in '84. That's where the real money came in. But getting back to the river, there's a live version, the one you're talking about, in which he talks about his...
I'm sorry. I see what you're saying. You're like if you're listening to a song on the radio and the guy's singing about how broke his sister is, and you're hearing this guy on the radio, you're thinking, well, dude, just help her out.
Dude, you're a gazillionaire. But
if I was listening to the radio and some guy was like, my sister is broke.
Right.
And that ain't no joke.
And you're sitting here and going, wait a second,
dude,
you're Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah,
go into your pocket. But the reality was he didn't have any money in 1979.
Oh, yeah.
He often says, he tells a story on an Australian 60 Minutes. There's a 60 Minutes version, the 60 Minutes TV show. There's an Australian version, and he tells the woman, the Australian anchor, whatever that would be in the form of like a Mike Wallace would be in out here, and he tells that person, he goes, I didn't have any money till I was like 32. I didn't even have a brand new car until I was like 32 years old. People thought I had a lot of money from these albums, but I didn't make any money.
And it was rough growing up here in Sydney.
Rough.
Being a kangaroo hunter.
It was definitely a hunter, yeah. But, in the Outback, it was definitely Outback High School is where I went.
Clarence would play the horn in the kangaroo's pouch.
Right. Right. But, so the river was written about his sister and his sister's husband. And I come from down in the valley where Mister when you're young, blah, blah. So that was what you heard that night. So, but he speaks about the river as he's playing the piano slightly, very, very low behind as he's speaking, blah, blah. He's talking about when he was going for his army test for Vietnam.
Yeah.
And his father said, I can't wait till the army gets
that's a story he tells on a different concert.
He tells on a different show where he says that, my father and I didn't get along, and he told me I can't
wait to cut your hair and
right.
Wait, yeah.
And I can't wait till they cut your hair, and I can't wait till they make a man out of you. And so Bruce and his friends, they went for their test, for their army test
to get drafted during
to
Vietnam.
Be drafted in Vietnam, and he failed. He failed the test, as he says on that night, and he failed the test. And the punchline was, when he comes into the house,
he really built it up where he was gone for 3 days.
He was gone for 3 days.
His dad was like, where you been?
He goes, where you been? And he goes, well, I went to go take my test, my army test. And he goes, yeah, what happened? He goes, well, I failed. They didn't take me. And my father said to me, that's good. That's good. And then he goes right into the harmonica.
Yeah.
And that's a very touching moment. Because
the way he built it up, because you're thinking his dad's going to be like, you need 8 years of boot camp.
Right,
and blah,
right.
blah, blah.
Really, they didn't take you?
Yeah.
But his old man knew how bad Vietnam was.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't give a shit.
And they hit that harmonica, and it just
And then he goes right into the
goosebumps.
harmonica, and it makes you think, oh, this guy really does love you.
You know what?
He just doesn't get along.
I just heard that song called... See, that's that whole River album. I don't think I even knew about it until I got into Bruce.
Right.
I like this song, The Backstreets. On the Backstreets.
Backstreets is phenomenal. That's off the Born to Run album.
So good. It's an upbeat, feel good. It's like, I don't know. There's a part of it on that Toronto concert where he says like, like he goes, if you made it first, I'd take you with me.
Right.
Yeah, what's he saying right there? Like, yeah.
Are you thinking of If I Fall Behind? You're thinking of If I Fall Behind.
Maybe.
If I Fall Behind is, and if I fall behind, wait for me.
No, it's on the back streets.
It's definitely on back
Back
streets.
streets. It's maybe it's in the middle of the song where he's doing like a little run or something.
I don't recall
on the back streets.
Hiding on the back streets. Hiding on the back streets. Whistle loud. We could check that. But
yeah.
And then the other version of the river that you were talking about was pretty much the tribute to his sister, and how the hard times that they went through in that time period.
I got some questions for you. Bruce Springsteen. Okay, guys.
Bruce
if
Frederick
you,
Joseph Springsteen.
If a person wants to hear Bruce Springsteen and they want to, let's say they're in a dark mood. It's late at night. They feel like they're like, you know what? I feel sad. I want to cry. I want to feel emotion. What song would get a person really disconnected right there?
I'm a big fan of a song called One Step Up.
One Step
Up is phenomenal. One Step Up is phenomenal. And it's something that a lot of people don't know about. And it's just a great, great song. But he's got so many songs.
Yeah.
Racing in the Street is phenomenal.
I love the one. I mean, I'm not gonna say I felt like crying, but it was very emotional. There's a song called "The Wreck" or something.
Wreck on the Highway.
Wreck on the Highway.
Wreck on the Highway is a great song. And
He really paints
that's about
a picture.
guy, somebody getting killed in a highway.
And then he said
crash.
sometimes he thinks about it at night when he's looking at his lady and he's asleep, and he's like, "What happened to that guy? He didn't come home, and his lady, she's gonna wake up with him out there." And then, gosh, man, it just gives you those goosebumps. It's like
he's amazing. I mean, I remember when I went backstage the very first time, that night in Anaheim, he played Meeting Across the River into Jungle Land. And that's the thing I showed you in Flappers that night backstage in the green room. I said, you gotta watch this. And you weren't into it yet. You weren't ready to accept Springsteen into your
Do me a favor. If we mentioned a comedy club, let's not say Flappers. Let's make my career look better. Let's say I was at Carnegie Hall.
Oh, okay.
Backstage at Carnegie Hall.
Yeah. You were catering that night, right?
Oh, fuck.
Okay. And but no.
Just kidding. I love you, Flappers.
Yeah, Flappers is great, man.
Burbank, not Claremont.
Yeah.
I like both of them.
I haven't been to Claremont, but Burbank.
Oh, you'll get there. You got to pass the audition.
You got to exactly. I don't know what's going to be with me, but anyway. So no, that's a great song. But I remember saying to Bruce, he played "Meeting Across the River into Jungle Land," which is what it is on the Born to Run album. That's the chronology. It's Meeting into Jungle Land, and I said to him, the very first time I met him, he sort of warmed up to me I was in there about an hour, and he came over to say hi, and I was minding my own business with my friend and a couple other people that were talking. And he came over, he goes, "Hey, how you guys doing? You guys having fun?" And I was like, yeah, man. I said, I just want to thank you, man, for playing Meeting into Jungle. I don't have to say the whole name of the song. I just went Meeting into Jungle. And he looks at me and he winks. He goes, "You like that, huh?" And I said, "Yeah, man, it doesn't get much better than that." And he goes, "Yeah, we hardly ever play that. And we hardly ever do it where we go right at consecutive." And he said, "But I'm glad you dug that, man." And he's just...
That's cool.
Like I said 6 hours ago, I've met a lot of people. Exactly.
This is like a Bruce Springsteen concert.
Right.
This is a 6-hour podcast.
Right.
Let me ask you this.
Go
So
ahead.
if a person wants to cry, blah, 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 that was what you said.
One Step Up, Racing in the Street, Jungle Land is phenomenal. If you want to hear Clarence Clemens is
Love it.
Probably the greatest sax solo in the history of rock and roll. I don't know of anything that can touch it. Clarence Clemens, Jungle Land.
And look up a YouTube concert, you're thinking?
You can do a concert, or you can just type in Jungle Land Live and try and keep it before 2011 if you're going to type it in, because then you're not going to have Clarence.
Because I like the album versions, but for some reason... With some people,
live.
Yes, I know, right?
The guy is so different live; it's not even funny.
And people usually are like, "No, I like the album version," but for Bruce Springsteen, I like the live.
It's the live
and the
live.
talking and the stories,
live,
and
man.
it's like
the live. It's a religious
so
experience, man.
It really is.
I tell people all the time, it's a religious experience. It's one of those concerts you don't have to smoke weed for or whatever. If people are pot smokers, whatever, you don't. He's just one. He gets you there.
Somebody wants to get into Bruce Springsteen. They're like, okay, I know like one song. Like, how would you start them out? Start them out with Born to.
Somebody said to me, said to me, I really want to see what this guy is all about.
I want to know what you guys are talking about.
What is this guy? I've heard about him, blah, blah, blah. My parents love him,
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. I would say I'm going to give 5 songs. How's that? 5 songs.
Okay.
All right. New York City Serenade is a song that you just started getting into, and you told me you dug it.
Okay. I like it, but I wouldn't say start out with that.
Really?
For me, I wouldn't.
I'm not saying number 1.
Yeah.
I'm not going number 1. But New York City Serenade is some pretty serious stuff going on there.
It's good, but it might be too, like, hey, listen to this. It's like a 12-minute song.
It's
like,
about 14 minutes. Yeah,
it's like,
but it's phenomenal.
Okay, but it is a very good song though. It is. But
Kitty's Back.
I don't even know what that is.
Kitty's Back is amazing.
You might be the wrong guy. You're like an ultimate fan. Wait, keep going. So, what the hell's that? Everyone knows the river, unless you've been living under a rock.
Right,
I never even heard of that shit until about 4 months ago. Okay.
Kitty's Back is phenomenal.
Guess I was living
Kitty Back.
Okay.
And phenomenal. The solos in that song are off the charts. Jungle Land.
Here in Jungle
exactly.
Land.
Down in Jungle Land. And Meeting Across the River is phenomenal. It's about a guy who's gonna go meet a guy from the mob, and he's taking a friend with him, and blah blah blah, cross the river to the other side, and got a meeting across through the tunnel. Got a meeting with a man on the other side. Hey Eddie, this guy, he's the real thing. So if you want to come along, you better promise you don't say anything, 'cause this guy don't dance. Words been passed. This is all.
This is hilarious because I don't recognize the song at all.
Oh,
these are the songs you would get people to listen to.
Absolutely.
Okay,
because once you listen to this, you're gonna go, "Oh shit, this guy is the real deal, man." You have to listen to Born to Run.
Yes. See, I would say like for me, I would say like
go Born to Run.
I would say like like Born to Run.
And then I'm going to give you 2 more because we're hitting 7.
Yeah.
Jungle Land. Thunder Road.
How's that go? I forget.
Screen Door Slam. Everybody knows Thunder Road.
Okay.
But no, Thunder.
I know him when I hear him.
Yeah, Thunder Road.
What about like dance? Okay, what about like Dancing in the Dark?
Nah, Dancing in the Dark is a great song live because he brings people up on stage to dance.
But I'm thinking like someone who's not really.
No. That's not somebody to baptize.
Dancing in the Dark, Born in the USA.
Born in the USA is a great song, but
I know what you're saying. They've probably already heard that.
Right.
Glory Days, they probably already heard that.
Phenomenal.
I know. Okay, the 2 new songs that I hadn't really heard until I started getting into them were Back Streets Living on the Back Streets. I love Back Streets.
Great song.
I love Back Streets is so upbeat and good. And then 10th Avenue Freeze Out.
Phenomenal.
10th Avenue.
Phenomenal song.
And what's the other one? Out in the Streets.
Out in the Street is amazing.
And then with Clarence, because he does the microphone to each one of the band members.
Yeah. That's a phenomenal song.
Out in the Streets.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great tune.
That's 3 good ones. I love. And then
Wild, the Innocent, the E Street Shuffle is an amazing song.
What's that one I told you? The 2 Hearts.
Rosalita.
Oh yeah,
Rosalita.
Oh, yeah. I like that 2 Hearts.
2 Hearts are better than 1.
2 Hearts are better than 1 is so good.
Phenomenal.
2 Hearts are better than. And then Fire when he does that. There's like one, I think it's called Sexy Version from Paris or something like that.
The Independence Day. That's a song that I can tell people. That's about him and his father finally realizing, I have to leave this house. I have to get out.
Man, growing up. Come on, growing up.
See,
okay.
That's the thing.
See, I would say growing up because this. I would look at the YouTube video of him telling the story about growing up.
That's
and then,
the one Foxborough 2016.
Yeah, the one we talked about earlier. And then
6 hours.
The story. You got to hear the story, and then he jams into it with a song.
Yeah.
And
you can also type in Springsteen lets kid come up on stage and play Growing Up with him in Australia. And that's very touching because this kid has a sign up in the front in second row. And Bruce, you could see Bruce looking at the sign when he's winking, looking with his eyes squinting. And he's like, he's reading the sign. It says, I am in deep shit. I played hooky today from school. Can I come up and play Growing Up with you? And he's reading this to the audience. And he goes like this to the kid. He goes, "Do you know the song?" And the kid goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you know it on guitar?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Come on up." And the place goes crazy, man. They go nuts because he's allowing this kid to come up, and the kid can play. And it was just so touching. And he's just. I've always said this about Springsteen. He strikes me as a guy, even though I got a chance to hang with him and everything, and obviously you don't pick too much of the brain in that period of time, but you do speak about some things. He reminds me. He just strikes me as a guy that never forgot what it felt like to want.
That's right.
And that's what I. That's
so
what
how many hours do you think you spent with Bruce?
I would say. Well, it was about 2.5. About 2.5 the first night. About 2.5, 2:45 the next. We were there a while, man, this next night. And then the night that I brought my mother and father, he said, "Hey, man, listen, my plane is on the runway right now." My father goes, Boca Raton Municipal. And he looks at my father and goes, "Yeah, how'd you know?" And he said, "We live not too far from that, and that's the only thing open right now." He goes, "Yeah, these guys want to go home, so they called my management people to say, 'Hey, you guys coming down here? You're going to get the plane or not?'" And so he was super cool. And he said, "I can only hang out a few minutes. I hope you understand." I was like, "Oh, absolutely, Bruce." He goes, "Let's take some pictures and let me sing Happy Birthday to your mom." And that was only about 15 minutes, but that was all you needed, man.
So total, how many?
I would say I've spent a total of about 5 hours, 45 minutes, 6 hours with him.
Awesome. No,
it's really good 6 hours. In other words,
that's great.
You're sitting on a couch. He's got to make the rounds. He's got to play host, but you're sitting on a couch, or you're standing up by the potato chips and celery sticks and carrot sticks. And
so 6 hours with Bruce, the boss. That's freaking awesome.
And
not many people can say that.
No.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Did my name come up?
He mentioned something. He said, "Hey, man, let me ask you a crazy question, man. There's a comedian, man. Plays a lot of clubs in Hollywood, man. Goes by the name, he's got this party starter thing." And I said, "Oh, Darren Carter." And he, "Yeah, that's the dude, man. He's a very funny cat, man. But
you think he would do the Pocket Party theme song cover? Next time you see him, throw it out there.
I'll say
you got nothing to lose.
I got nothing to lose, man. Bruce, let me ask you a crazy question. But so that was it. And let me ask you.
Hey, why don't you just sing it in a Bruce Springsteen impression sometime?
Try. But no,
everybody listen.
But and that's another great song. Yeah. Everybody's Got a Hungry Heart. That's a great.
Oh, the Hungry Heart.
Great song. It's funny. You can never list the top 5 of Bruce.
Yeah.
Because there's too many. There's too many good songs.
There's a song. Okay, let's talk about this.
Go ahead.
And then we'll stop talking about Bruce.
Yeah. Enough with the Bruce already.
But
as much as I love him,
people have covered Bruce Springsteen. Mm-hmm. Are there any covers that you like? That you're like, that's
really
good.
I'm going to tell everybody right now.
Yeah.
Kenny Chesney, One Step Up.
Okay.
Phenomenal. Kenny Chesney, One Step Up is absolutely phenomenal.
Mine would be, help me out on this. It's Eddie Vedder. Eddie Vedder covers it. It's about is it called Drive All Night?
Drive All Night. Phenomenal song.
So good.
Phenomenal song.
I almost kind of like Eddie Vedder's version.
Yeah, he's got a good version to that.
Yeah, I'm not going to say better than Bruce, but I kind of do though, because Bruce is great on everything.
Absolutely.
But that particular, I'm like, man, Eddie. It's so
hey, look,
good.
I'll be honest. I think Manfred Mann's Blinded by the Light. It might be better than Bruce's Blinded. But
you know what's funny?
Yeah.
On the way here, he must have when he goes to certain places and does tour, he'll do something kind of for that region of the world. And so today, when I was listening to Sirius XM, he was in Australia. And he did some classic folk song from Australia, like Courtney Wynn about the frog.
Oh yeah, he does that.
How's it go, Courtney Wynn jumping?
Yeah. He'll do something like that.
How's it go, Courtney?
That specific song, I don't know.
Courtney Wynn the frog and
But no, he.
What if that was a song that we're like, you gotta Courtney went to frogging, or,
right.
You've got to hear his version of Old MacDonald.
Right.
That'll get people as a fan.
But no, he's we can finish off with he's a phenomenal human being, and he just signed. For those out there that have any interest in Bruce whatsoever, I don't know if you guys know this, but he's been on Broadway for the last year.
I know.
October 3rd will be 1 year that he's been on Broadway, and he sells out every night. It's 5 nights a week. But he just signed, like 3 days ago, he just signed a contract with Netflix. and he's going to have his December 15th, he's going to have his one-man Springsteen on Broadway show available to the public.
Wow. I wonder if they've already filmed it.
They shot it just the other night.
Nice.
Shot it the other night. I'm sure it's being edited or whatever the hell they're doing. I don't even know why they would edit it. But that's a really cool thing to do. And let me explain why. Yes, obviously he's going to get himself $10 to $15 million. I'm not an idiot. Nobody's an idiot. There's money involved. Okay. Mm-hmm. Netflix pays big money. They gave Seinfeld $100 million for comedians in cars. I don't know if you know that. They gave Chappelle $60 million for his specials. They gave Chris Rock $20 million. Yeah. And I'm sure they're taking care of Sebastian Maniscalco on his next one. But what I will say is I'm sure that Bruce is getting $10 to $15 million for this. But even though he's making that kind of money, look at what he's doing. These people around the world that can't afford the airfare, the hotel in New York City, the ticket itself to the show, and all the other miscellaneous garbage and food, how he's saving everybody, $2,000, $3,000 to come out there. So I think it's great, and
it's like let's document this thing.
More power to the boss, man.
I love it.
I'm not stupid. The guy's getting a big paycheck.
Can we hear a voicemail? Can we get that ready? Can we do that
now?
Oh,
from my mother?
I love this. You guys, so I'm going to set this up.
You can set this up.
Can you put your phone on speaker and turn it all the way up when you're about to play it, and then put it right against the microphone?
Right against the microphone.
Right against the microphone.
All right.
You guys, this is so awesome.
Should I check Tinder first?
No, don't check Tinder or Bumble.
So set it up.
Okay, I'll set it up. So I told you guys, for some odd reason, no offense, that sounds odd.
Go ahead.
Odd reason. Dean doesn't do social media, really. I mean, you do Facebook and you do Yelp. I mean, right?
No, but I'm not doing Yelp.
Yeah.
I'm not doing Yelp.
You spend 3 hours giving your own
right.
office
Hi,
reviews.
I'm Dr. Dean.
No, but it's like, and I'm telling you, it's like, for when I say odd reason, yours is one of the more popular episodes.
It's the highest viewed for some reason. Because I told some funny, fucking crazy stories.
I think it's word of mouth, which is good, you guys. If you're trying to get something going, get good product out there,
Right.
It's like, and people will tell their friends and
so
whatever.
I sent it to my mother.
Yeah.
Today, literally the first episode.
Episode 10. You guys go back and listen to episode 10.
Okay. And
if you haven't already,
this is what she wrote me back. Not wrote me back. This is what she
put
voiced.
Put it right up to the Put it on speaker, and then put the microphone right up there, real loud. Check this out. How old is your mom? 80 years old.
I absolutely loved it, and this is your mama talking, and you know how judgmental I am, and when I say it's good, it's good. Wonderful. Both of you together is fantastic. I love you, and I'm so proud of you. Ciao, ciao. Have a great night. I want to listen to the next one.
That's my mom, 80 years old.
Dude, that's so cool.
And she's listening till it was 10 after 1 in the morning. So,
wow.
In Florida.
That's good. See, it means something, huh? When somebody, like she said, she's going to tell you, hey, yeah. She would let you know.
Oh, there's plenty of jokes that she says to me, no, that doesn't belong on stage.
Yeah.
I run everything by her usually because she has the sense of humor in my house. My father didn't have that. My father's still alive, but he did not have the sense of humor that my mother had. And
your father called me. Can I play the voicemail?
Yeah.
No.
Hey, listen. He's a good man. He's a good guy. He's getting older. He's 88 years old. And God willing, he'll be 88 in October. He's a good guy, man.
What do you think, man? Imagine older people that are like, I mean, I know what I'm thinking with like technology and how everything has changed so quickly, really. You know what I mean? Like it's moving fast.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone from besides the internet and stuff. I mean, just even from the cabs to like taking an Uber. Have you taken Ubers?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that?
Absolutely.
It's a wild idea. Now it's kind of normal. It doesn't even seem like a big deal. It's so integrated. The other day I looked up something, an address on Google Maps, and then it just pops up, ding, do you want an Uber? It would cost you $14 to get there.
Oh, really? It does that?
It's sort of integrated somehow, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
But it's kind of nice, right? To be able to...
I did Uber for a while. I did Uber. I'll explain that.
What do you mean did it? You drove?
I drove. and this was.
Oh, I got you. Here's what you would do. You would get in accidents on purpose. How's your back feel? I can take care of you.
I was
drum up business.
staging accidents. I was staging accidents. No. A friend of mine called me,
and you play Bruce Springsteen in the car.
Right. A friend of mine said, "It's funny you said that because that's what I was doing." I had Sirius XM radio on, and I would play Bruce. But no, what happened was a friend of mine called me, and he was an Uber driver, and I had no clue what Uber was. I was like, "What are you talking? What is Uber?" And he goes, "Dude, it's been around for." At the time, it was around like a year. And I said, "I have no idea what this is. What are you talking about?" Ba. You pick up people. It's like almost like a taxi cab. Ba. Okay. And one of my dilemmas that I think we might have spoken about a little bit in episode 1 of our podcast.
Episode number 10 of the Pocket Party Podcast.
Right.
Episode 10. Your first appearance.
I feel like I'm talking to a librarian. Yeah, yes, the Dewey Decimal System is aisle 3.
Definitely episode 10. Yeah, definitely.
And so one of the dilemmas that I go through being a chiropractor, folks, is that I don't sleep with my patients. I don't date my patients. And it's sort of tough. It's sort of tough because, there's some very pretty women that come in the office that I would love to go out with, that kind of stuff. But I don't do it because it's just not a good thing. So my friend said to me, he goes, you'll meet a ton of women as an Uber driver. So I started doing it. I guess it was probably about 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, I started doing it. And I only did Friday and Saturday night, and I would go 11:30 at night till about 3 in the morning. And it was wild because I was making like an extra $125 a night. Plus you got to kick back the money to Uber, and then you got to kick back $25-$30 to gasoline. But I was walking away with a few extra bucks on the side. It was great. It was hysterical. But I noticed that I wasn't meeting women, and when I was,
they were drunk.
Oh. And so I didn't want to take a chance with that and all that. I just didn't think it was the way to go. And so what happened was I went from making like $25, $27 an hour, and then they dropped the rates after Labor Day, and I was making like $12, $13 an hour doing this. And I was like, well, who am I kidding? I make a very good living as a chiropractor. What am I doing? I'm working for $12, $13. No offense to anybody who's working $12, $13 an hour. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I worked all day as a doc in the office, and now I have to go out at 11:30 at night for an extra $12.
You know what, you guys? I looked up chiropractor on YouTube, and or I don't know. Maybe I didn't. I don't even know how it started getting in my YouTube feed. And I was watching chiropractor videos.
Did you cut me off on that one?
I'm sorry. Did you have it?
No, go ahead.
No. What did you have to say?
No. I'm saying that was my Uber story. But good. No. That's it. That's it. Go ahead. Good.
Okay, cool. Because somebody said last time I interrupted you, so I'm trying. I'm trying not to interrupt you.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You were talking about. What were you talking about?
You're interrupting me.
Chiropractic videos. No, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, no, I know what I was talking about.
Okay, go ahead.
You interrupted me.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
So it's, you guys, check this out. It's like these compilation videos where it's like basically it's like basically like hot girls, and then these chiropractors are like pulling on their bodies and cracking their backs.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I think that's why they have millions of views.
I saw that one.
Because people will be like, oh, look at 7 minutes and 2 seconds in, and it's like some hot lady,
right?
And when the guy will crack her back, she's like, "What does this do?" And then he'll go, and she's like, "Ooh, nice." So I don't know. Maybe it's like for some people they like to watch these videos or something. But have you ever thought of doing a video like that to get some views?
No,
I mean, they would show guys too, but I'm just saying it's
fine.
Some people don't know what a chiropractor does.
Yeah, that's correct. No, I'm fine. I have a nice little practice, and I like it the way it is right now. If I feel it's appropriate that I'm going to put a certain move up on so the world can see, then I'll do it. But otherwise, everybody's got the same side posture, lumbar adjustment move, and it's fine. I'm good right now. Maybe I could generate, but it is what it is. I'm good. I'm doing fine.
I got some questions. So
go ahead. There were certain questions that you said.
I tweeted out and I put on Facebook, hey, Dean Larit, episode 10 from the Pocket Party Podcast is back on. And right away, it was hilarious. Like right away, I got questions.
I think that's so cool.
I know. Rems from iTunes. Guys, if you want to help this podcast out, go to iTunes. Just throw in 5 stars. It's very easy. Seriously, if you have an iPhone, or an Apple product, you go to Pocket Party Podcast and just hit 5 stars. And if you got 30 more seconds, leave a review and I'll give you a shout out. But Rems, who's been on since day one, Rems, I think he gave me my review like right away. He goes, ask Dean if he's ever been with 2 women at the same time.
Okay, the answer to that question is no.
Next question.
No. Hold on. I'm
joking.
By the way, Lisa Alvarado says hello.
Oh, hi, Lisa.
Yeah, she just got back to me.
Cool.
So,
put that phone away. So
I know.
Sorry about that.
No, there's no distraction whatsoever. I got you covered.
Rems
was the person.
Have you ever?
Okay, Rems. Here's the deal. When I was a stripper, I have done seriously about 75 about 75 menage a trois. But Rems, I'm gonna burst your bubble a little bit. Yeah, I've done, but I have never done. I've never had sexual relations with 2 women at the same time. And let me tell you something, Rems. It's on my bucket list. It is on my bucket list. It will.
That's hilarious. It's on my bucket list.
It's on my bucket. And let me tell you something, Rems. It's very high up on my bucket list. It's not like 7th. It's okay.
People are like, fine. There's
right now we're going to get into some. Enough with the Springsteen, man. The guy's worth $400 million. He doesn't need any plugs from us. Okay, he sells out.
Wait, how many menage a trois is it again?
I've done about 70 to 75. Now here's the story.
So what happens? You're with 2 women, but you're only really with 1 woman.
No, here's where I'm gonna hurt a few of you people. You're gonna be a little upset with me.
Yeah,
it's with me and another guy and another girl. And that was a very big thing in the 80s, man. Let me explain why. These women, 400 women, are coming to these clubs. They see us without any clothes on.
Yeah.
And they get a little turned on, and they have their dollar bill and all this stuff, and they put it down your pants.
Can we keep this story family friendly? I just remembered that my son listens and your mom listens.
My mom is going to love this.
Okay,
my mom knows these stories.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was 23 years old. She knows what I've been. So what happened, Rems and public of America, those women tended to be a little bit more excited and turned on than just going to meet a girl for coffee, for a date. Exactly. And this is 1987, man. This is before the AIDS thing
goes.
This is
neon and ripped jeans and Ray-Bans and
hair blown up with helium. Okay,
hair blown up with helium,
meaning that high Long Island hairstyle.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening is these women.
Oh yeah, you probably had that hairstyle.
Yeah. And these women, and this, AIDS hasn't gone through the roof yet. Okay, it hasn't been like
Magic Johnson hadn't.
No,
announced
he doesn't come out till 90.
Yeah.
Okay, 90 or 91. So what happens is, it was very easy at the end of a quote-unquote strip set where we had the zone of power, what's called the zone of power.
I like that. Zone of power.
Zone of power. I had the zone of power.
It's like how I am the day my podcast drops.
Yeah.
Like that.
You have
a zone
of power.
The first 24 hours.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
And so I had the zone of power at the end of the night. And all these other dancers had the zone of power. And, different strokes for different folks. There would always be some girl in that audience that's going to pick that guy over there, Peter. There's going to be some girl in the audience that's going to go, I want to be with Brian. I want to be with Dean. I want to be with Michael. I want to be with Rick. I want to be with Dan, blah, blah. And what happens is sometimes that would actually intersect where somehow in the girl's head it was, I would like to be with Dan and Dean. Okay.
Double D.
38 double D. And that's what would happen. And we would go back to my apartment in Manhattan and we would have a wild sex.
That is wild.
This was wild sex. And we would go till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning with these crazy stuff that was going on. But like I said, it was like a free love period. It was back. It was not a Woodstock thing, but it was definitely there's nothing to really worry about. It was off. But first off, one thing, always safe sex, always protected sex. I was very big on condoms, very big on protection. And part of being a little bit of a germaphobe, a tiny bit. But I was very careful with that. And but yes, the answer to Rems's question, and Rems, you can take this with with a grain, because I know I might you might be like, oh dude, I can't believe he was with another guy. But by the way, there was never anything, no crossing swords.
Right.
There was nothing like that. Nothing like that. It was never anything like that. But there was about 70 some odd times that stuff happened, and but the bucket list is definitely 2 women, and I will pay, and I will pay for it if I have to.
Really?
I will absolutely, because I do want to check out of here. Every one of my friends has done it, and I've never done it.
Well, I haven't done it, so.
Yeah, okay.
But I know what you're saying, though. Like, all your single friends at some point.
All my single friends at one point or another,
Wow.
the strippers and actors and comedians that I know, they've all had that experience. And I don't know if it's going to be anything so amazing. I don't know if it's going to be. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen that are listening to this. I've had a decent amount of sexual activity in my life. I've been with, I've had. Can I say a number, or is that bad?
Yeah, go for it.
Close to 200, 200 women in my life, which is not a lot. Most of my friends are at 500, 600. Okay, but I've been close to 200, and I have to be honest with you. I've had 200. I would say the release emotionally that a human being gets from destroying in a comedy club set. I haven't had one sexual activity that will ever come close to any of the amazing sets I've had on stage. And I've had some sets that I can literally go to my grave and go, there weren't too many people better than me that night at that moment.
It feels great,
and
right?
you know what I'm talking about here.
Yes.
And I have spoken with a lot of comics about this, about the comparison. It's not the first time. The reason I'm talking about this, and I'm talking adamantly and serious about it, is because I actually have done a little bit of empirical research on this. I have actually asked. I've never asked a female this because they don't get this as much as we do.
Yeah.
Okay. But I have asked men, compare your best set ever, possible standing ovation, possible nonstop applause breaks, that kind of stuff. I'm talking off the, a 9.5 out of a 10 comedy set. Okay. The only reason you didn't do a 10 out of a 10 is you tripped over the mic wire. Okay. That's how powerful the set was. And I have never had an orgasm in my life with a female. Not that I've ever had one with a male, but I've never had one with a female where it ever comes close to that night in Delray, Florida, when I opened up for Dom Irera, or in New York, in Manhattan, or wherever it's been, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I've never experienced it. And I know a lot of guys, and I've never really posed this question to females out of respect. I didn't want to go down that road, okay? But I have heard a lot of guys agree with me on this. Yeah, I've been with 150, 200. I've been with 65 women, 20.
I wonder what it's like for like a musician, like going back to Bruce. Like,
I'm
I wonder,
sure
that's got to be like even more than. You think it's even more than what we feel?
I think an artist is an artist, and a porn star is a porn star. Meaning, if you're gonna judge your life by how great your orgasm just was with an amazingly hot girl, if whatever, or I'm gonna flip it to the other side, a guy if you're a female, whatever, and you're not gonna let your art work, that your craft that you've developed, take precedence over that, or dominance over that, then I don't think you're the artist you think you are. Okay? Because let's face it, you and I are walking around all day long waiting to make somebody laugh. Okay? That's what you wait for all day long when you are, in Missouri, walking around the mall waiting for
tonight's the night.
Tonight's the night. The show starts tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you like getting laughs during the day, like just in your day-to-day life? Do you do that? Do you throw out jokes here and there?
I try it all day long.
Yeah, it feels
You
good,
watch
huh?
my Facebook posts.
Yeah.
You see,
but I mean,
all day long.
in real life, though, besides the tweeting and the posting and the.
I am what you call a miserably happy person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when you go down to the coffee shop, do you like crack a little joke
I
here and
love
there?
being funny. I like being.
It feels good, right?
It's nice to make somebody laugh. I like making my patients laugh. We laugh our asses off in the office. Read my Yelp reviews.
And then sometimes you're like, I could write that down and save that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People always. But like for instance, okay, here's something that's going in my show, folks, ladies and gentlemen out there that listen to the podcast.
You heard it here first.
Right. We're gonna have Orson Welles any second, announce the Hindenburg is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting ready to shoot a pilot. I finally feel that I am finished writing enough of the scenes, and it's called Cracking You Up, and it's going to be very, very funny. There's really good stuff here, and Darren will be in it. He will be in the pilot. But one of the things that people always say to me, females always inherently say this to me in the office. They'll go, Doc, let me ask you a question. Do you think I'm having this problem the way I'm sleeping? And I go, I don't know. I don't sleep with you. Okay. And that's a great line. And they always laugh. When women, the girls always laugh when I say that. And
because they're uncomfortable.
So then yesterday, a guy says to me, which I thought was very funny. He goes, Doc, I got to be honest with you, man. It's never been this way. Anytime I've come to see you, it's never been in my ass like this. And this is exactly the word for it. It's never been in my ass like this. In other words, sciatica. And I said to him, I walked right by him as I was going to fetch something behind him, and I said, I'm sure it's been in your ass before. he just started laughing. Okay, so I do run the risk of being reported to the board a couple of times a month, but I think.
But you're right. Hey,
but I think people can tell. Your intention.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a cool guy. If you read my Yelp reviews, you'll actually see a lot of people go, be prepared to talk about Springsteen in the office and to listen to Springsteen as he's adjusting you. You'll listen to Springsteen music. And by the way, the guy's funny.
That's so cool.
Okay, and I dig it, man. But
okay, I got
so we're talking about menage a trois. Yes. Getting back.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, no, I'm saying that we circumvented because we're talking about the power.
Should I move on to the next
question?
Please,
the next question.
Did you have more?
That's it. That's all I got on that.
Okay,
that's all I got.
Next question comes from Mike Bagak.
Go ahead.
He asks, "Why does my back hurt?" Which
Mike.
Maybe he was joking, but is there a
impossible to answer?
Is there like a top 2 or 3 reasons that people's backs may hurt? When they come in?
Top answer.
Yeah.
Usually 9 out of 10 times, top answer is overweight.
Okay.
Overweight. The stomach is sticking out and it's protruding the lumbar spine, and it's putting pressure on the.
So guys, let's lose weight. Let's tighten the core up, right? Tighten the abs
core.
up.
Stretch.
You eat very healthy. You still have the 6-pack at your age. 54, are you?
I do have, yeah.
You have a 6-pack, man.
Have the 6.
Tonight for dinner, you had like some chicken.
I had chicken and some hummus because of you were setting up, and I didn't want to take too much time.
No, but that's good though. Chicken.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
And then when you leave,
We'll
sometime tomorrow.
go to In-N-Out Burger. No.
Sometime tomorrow. No, I'll make a steamed vegetable plate. I have steamed vegetables every night. I have I have broccoli, cauliflower, green pepper, red pepper, yellow pepper.
That's great.
And yeah, that's it. Green pepper. Yeah.
I'm just trying to teach people what they can grab.
I steam the vegetables, and I think it's extremely.
And you steamed the chicken I
steamed the chicken for 3 minutes.
Yeah. And how long do you steam the vegetables for?
The steamed vegetables takes about 9-10 minutes.
It's not that long, huh?
No.
That's great.
And I do.
And how do you do it? There's like a pot, and then there's like
a pot,
that
and
steamer,
and then a steamer,
like a strainer looking
thing.
Strainer.
Strainer steamer.
Super simple.
Say that 10 times fast.
Strainers,
yeah. And I do that. I try and do that every night. I'm a very big believer that that the antidote to keep yourself cancer free, and especially in the colon, is vegetables. Mm-hmm. I truthfully believe that vegetables release certain chemicals in the when they absorb into the system that can be very anti-cancer for the bowel. And I think it's not only that, the vegetables help you move your bowels.
Yep.
So I
Let's
you know,
go.
go ahead.
If people want the six pack, they want to be the lean, mean look that you're doing. They
How
want,
do you really
They
do
want
it?
to have 75 threesomes, and then they want to start moving on to threesomes with girls. Tell us
On the bucket list.
and on the bucket list, and willing to pay for it. No,
Right.
no, but honestly though,
I have no
you're
problem paying
you're
for it.
lean. You got the six pack. You got the muscles. Like what? What do you?
What is the number one contributing factor? I will tell you right now, my whole life changed physically when I got into Weight Watchers. No, when I got into I always
high intensity interval training?
Bingo, you got
Yes.
it, baby. We've discussed it at Flappers.
Yeah, going real fast and then like
High
sprinting
intensity.
and-
So you are doing a 3 to 4 minute warm up to bring blood around the body, and the warm up is just light, easy jog on a treadmill or light, easy jog in the street, whatever you want to do. Nothing crazy, just get the blood going, and then you start doing 30-second full blast intervals with a 75 to 90-second break.
That could be anything, right? Like it could be like burpees.
Speed. It's got to
or,
be speed.
No,
No. It's got to be speed.
Oh, like running.
Yeah,
it
it's
just
gotta
can't be like.
It really should be running. It really should be running.
Because I've been doing that on the bag, the heavy bag with the boxing
That's
gloves.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you do that for 30 seconds, and people laugh at me. The patients, they go, 30 seconds, doc? That's nothing. I can
30
run."
seconds is a long time.
They don't realize.
When you're going all out
They
like
don't realize when you do 30-second sprints, and you're supposed to do 8 of them. You're supposed to do 8, okay? People, they used to laugh at me and go, Doc, 30 seconds is what cut up your stomach. And I tell them, I go, I'm telling you right now, you start going into a different metabolic component, and you start burning more fat. And
that. Let's talk diet though, because we
Go
know
ahead.
that. Okay, so what about like so
diet's
what,
about
what
diet, in my opinion, is 90% of working out.
a random breakfast? Give us a couple random breakfast ideas to get the six pack. You wake up in the morning. Should I have a banana?
Well,
Or there's a lot of sugar in there, but
There's a lot of sugar.
But I eat it. I wake up and I usually have a banana.
Do you really? Yeah, you go
Yeah.
for banana. Banana is a lot of. It's got that high glycemic index and everything, but the trade-off is the potassium and all that. But I don't do that many bananas like I used to. I was a big banana fan for a while, and then I don't do it as much because I know it's a massive surge of sugar.
What's a quick healthy thing for breakfast that a person might eat if they want a six pack? What you're doing?
Lately, I've been doing, believe it or not, I've been doing a little bit of pineapple, a little bit of blueberry, and a little bit of strawberry, and all organic. Now, some people might be saying, "What is this guy talking about? That's sugar." Well, it's fructose. But here's the kicker: I started doing blood samples on myself, literally pricking my finger. Yeah, you can, as George Carlin, you could say, "Hey, you can finger your prick, but don't. You can prick your finger, but don't finger your prick." And so I started doing blood samples, and I started noticing that after I took pineapple, blueberry, and strawberry, and I waited about 45 minutes to an hour, I didn't notice a jump in the blood sugar. Okay, and so I think it's a semi-myth that fructose is bad for the pancreas, and you shouldn't have too much fructose because it converts into uric acid, which becomes crystals. But regardless, I don't reach that max that level where it becomes like that. But yeah, I like that, and I'll even, believe it or not, I'll have a little hummus, which has carbs. I try and keep the carbs to 110 grams a day.
Well, you're actually counting stuff. That's good. I never.
Yeah, I try and do 100 to 110 grams a
Okay,
day.
another question
Yes.
from either Mike Begak or Rems. I forget which one it was. But the person wanted to know, what's the craziest patient you ever had?
Oh, this
Do you
is
have-
funny. I had a guy who came in.
Don't say any names.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I had
Yeah.
a guy coming in, and he comes into the old office, not the one I'm at now, and he goes, my back is hurting me. It a little over here, and I could tell he was very trepidatious and very scared, and I listened to him in the lobby, in the waiting room area, and we're just talking. I'm just feeling the guy out, see what the story is. And I said, well, why don't you get some paperwork filled out, and we'll get you into the room, and we'll see what happens from there. And so we fills out the paperwork, and I put him on this traction table with a heating pad, so it's nice and smooth, and it just feels good, and blah blah blah. And I lay him down on the thing with the pad, and he lays down there for 15 minutes, and 10-15 minutes, and I bring him into the room. and I place him on the table, the chiropractic table, where I'm facing down, where I'm going to actually get serious now and start working on his back and seeing what's bothering this guy. And all of a sudden, I put my hands on him, and he goes, "Oh no! Wait a second. Are you?" And I mean, in this voice, "Oh no! You're not going to be doing spinal manipulation on me, are you?"
Oh.
And I went, and he literally started saying that, and I said, "Oh," and I said, "Yeah. This is what a chiropractor does. I'm going to manipulate the spine and put the spine back in place, take the pressure off the nerves, and you'll feel better." And he goes, "Oh no, not spinal manipulation!" And I mean, literally like that.
Wow.
Like where he was squeaking.
He was so scared.
He was so frightened, and I said, but it was hilarious because if you're in the waiting room, people were like, "What is going on there?" This man is literally going, "Oh no, not spinal manipulation," and he's really. I'm laughing a little bit myself because I've never heard this, and then but I've had that. That to me was the funniest, and then I've had people where they said they've been to 3 or 4 chiropractors when they lived in Minneapolis and when they lived in Manhattan and when they lived in Rhode Island and Vermont. And they come to me and I put my hands on them and they go, "What are you doing?" And I go, "I'm getting ready to adjust you. I'm seeing what's wrong with your spine." And they go, "What are you doing?" None of the 4 guys ever put their hands on me. And I go,
"What?"
"Yeah, I've had that." Where I go, "You're kidding me." And I go, "What do they do?" And he goes, and the person, sometimes it's a female, would go, they just put heating pads on with me with electrical stimulation electrodes on my back, and then they left the room. And I go, "Oh, so they didn't do anything." And exactly.
Right.
So one thing led to another, and I showed these people. I said, no. Chiro in Latin means hand.
Yeah.
That's what it means, and practor means practitioner of the hand. So I guess an excessive masturbator would be a chiropractor. It would be a practitioner of the hand.
I remember my mom, when I was a kid, went to the chiropractor. I used to call him the squash doctor.
Okay.
I was like, "Oh, you're going to the squash doctor?" Because I
like
could probably
that.
picture the squash, like
Right.
Yeah.
It's such a great profession.
Yeah. So listen,
I'm so blessed. to
You're
be
the
able-
best, man. You're the best.
I don't know about that.
We're going to wrap it up. We have so much to say, but I think we should save some for the next
Oh
appearance.
my God, there's more.
Is there anything you really want to?
How
get
long
out
have we
there?
just done?
Well, right now we did 50
2 hours and
minutes.
45 minutes.
I know. Right now, yeah, dude, we're over, and we've almost 2 hours.
All right, okay.
So it's like
Because I want to talk about women next time dating, how they feel compelled. They feel compelled to tell us how tall they are with their height, and then in heels. I want to discuss that. That's starting to annoy me. How every woman has to say, "I'm 5'3", but I'm 6'7" in heels." I don't know if I'm dating a girl named Pam or Ace Frehley from Kiss.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of things that we need to talk about, and I want to talk about bedwetting also. I've done some soul searching lately after discussing something with a friend of mine on and we'll get into this later. I don't want to get into it now, and but I flashed back, and I was able to have a flashback on myself, and I was bedwetting up until about I hate to say this, like 12, 13 years old. And I really was very moved and very emotionally, like, why was I still having this problem at that age? So but it was very comical. And then next time we talk, I want to talk about getting locked out of my car and locking all of my stuff in the trunk with a trunk lock.
Oh my gosh.
And I told you that story.
Love that story.
It's a great story.
You guys got to listen to the next episode. And there's more. We'll even talk about more
there's
stuff.
plenty of stuff I can talk about. But
this is great, man. You're like great guest, great guy. You guys got to, thank you so much for listening to the Pocket Party podcast.
Thank you for having
and
me.
Say hi to your mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mama.
So cool that you,
Mama,
man, what a mom. That's great. She's great. That was awesome.
That's great. And then next time when we get a chance, we'll talk about your family, your childhood.
Yeah. Childhood, man. As you guys know who listen, maybe you don't know, I'm adopted. I grew up in a foster home.
Yeah.
So when having my own child is like the best. That's why, I play his, his theme song and I interview him, and I just think it's great to have that new beginning with my own, my own family. I love it. I love being a dad. It's like I sometimes look at my wife and family, my wife and son. You know, we'll be going for like a hike or something, and I just see them up ahead of me, and I'm like, man, I'm so happy that things worked out.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just great to, you know. I remember like there was a time I was in the shower, and I wasn't having success like I wanted to as a comic, and I was just like depressed. I was like, am I ever going to have a girlfriend? Am I ever going to have a family? Am I ever going to? And I would literally get on my knees at night when I would say my prayers, and I was like, and I found the right girl, and she's the right. My wife is the perfect woman for me, man. She's so nice. She's such a, you know,
She's very pretty also.
very pretty.
Very pretty girl.
So pretty.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm serious. He
Yeah.
showed me a picture of her because I know you keep her very secret.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a private person.
Yeah, she's private.
Because I'm a public person.
Right.
I'm like, and my son's kind of public, so it's
Right.
kind of cool. It's like, okay, you could be. I mean, the other day I was looking at her. We were in a group of people, and I was like, you look so pretty. It's like she's everything I love in a woman. She's like,
She's very pretty. I
she's
told you.
dark hair. She's tan. She's
Ladies and
got
gentlemen,
great white
she's
teeth,
very
and
pretty. Trust me on this.
She hates when I do this because she's like, you're building me up. So when people see me, but yeah, that's just. She's great, man.
Yeah,
She's like,
I when you showed me a picture of her, I said, "This your wife?"
thank you.
Yeah. So, but no, we got some ground to break in on you, man.
Speaking of fitness
Go
in
ahead.
my family, my son, he's on a kick now. He's 10 years old. Every morning he does 200 push-ups and 200 sit-ups. He's going to do that for 30 days.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What are his sets? Like how many?
I don't know. I should ask him.
No,
like,
in other words,
yeah,
sets
like
of,
20, 25.
That's awesome.
I'm not sure. The other day he did. No, I'm not saying it's perfect form, like, but it's close enough.
Whatever.
Austin, you know, you're so good, Austin. But he'll do his push-ups, and then he added, like, besides the 200, like later on that night.
He puts weights on his back.
Yeah. He did the push-up where you do a push-up and then you do a row with the dumbbell.
Oh, okay.
Push up and then you take the dumbbell with dumbbells, and you do a row.
I never saw that.
Yeah, I'll demonstrate it.
Okay.
You get the idea, though, right?
Yeah.
It's like a 5-pound dumbbell, but it's like
Okay.
it's cool because I go, dude, you're starting to get some shoulders on you. You know, like
How
when
old is
goes
he
like
now?
this.
He's 11.
He's 10. He'll be 11 in
10.
September.
Wow, 11 years
Yeah.
old, man.
It's great. He runs more. Yeah, he runs with us. He's doing the weights. He's like,
And he's a good kid, man.
he's good, man. He's jamming on
You're
the.
very lucky, man. There's a lot of times that I think
Yeah.
about that. That I
Mhm.
go, I'm 54 years old, and I live in this apartment, which you say is, 15, like a 15-year-old,
16.
16-year-old.
Yeah, it's
And
awesome.
It's a cool place. I'm fine with it. It's clean though. I keep it clean.
It's clean. It's
Yeah.
great. You got the liquid soap for the
Got
guests.
the liquid soap.
Yeah, you got the rocket posters
Adrian, yo, Adrian.
I showed my son Rocky. I go, we got all 4 of them. We ordered all 4 of them. I think on
I
Amazon.
heard.
And I go, Austin, what do you think of Rocky, the first one? And he goes, it was good. I really liked it, but I wish Rocky would have won.
Did you let him see 2?
I go, don't worry, kid.
Yeah, did you say?
We're gonna watch Rocky 2.
Don't worry, kid. He does just fine.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, the first one's kind of
Did
dark.
you show him 2?
Not yet. I want to. I want to
Okay.
show him 2.
Rocky 1 to me is one of the greatest films of all time. I've seen it over 100 times, and it is the reason I came out here. That's the reason I came here, is because of that movie. That movie set me on a path of wanting to do what Stallone did. Didn't happen to me so far. I do have this pilot gun we're going to shoot soon. Who the hell knows what the universe has in store for that? But whatever.
It's called Crack 'em Up. It's about a
Cracking you up. It's
you up.
actually cute, man. It's going
about
to be. It's going to be funny.
Who gets chosen to crack the
To
back
fight
of the
another
world.
chiropractor.
To fight.
Yeah. Hey, but I went
Hey,
the
I'm just a
distance.
ham and egger.
Yeah.
I lost, but I went the distance.
Nobody's ever gone the distance with Creed.
Trivia question,
Go
real
ahead.
quick. In Rocky 1, there's some turtles. Do you remember the turtles' names?
Yeah, Cuff and Link.
Yeah, boom. This guy's great.
Cuff and Link, man.
All
And what
right.
was his dog's name?
What letter does it start with?
B.
I don't know.
Butkus.
Buckus.
Butkus!
He
There,
knows.
Butkus! You come back, Butkus! Oh my God, look at you!
Wow.
When she brings him the dog, she buys him the dog, and he goes, Butkus! And he takes him out.
You
And
know
that was his
movie
real
really,
dog.
You know that movie? Oh, I saw that.
That was his real dog.
After
And
I
he
watched the
sold
movie, I
the
went back-
dog.
Yeah.
He had no money, and he had to sell the dog. And when he got the big payday to write, he got like $250,000 to write the movie, to do the movie. That was it, and because they wanted to have Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds was the guy that the studios wanted. He was one of the biggest stars in the world in '76. And he said, not a prayer.
Yeah, he said the money kept going up and up and up,
Right.
and he's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do
Right.
it. Then he's like,
He
I'm
said,
gonna take a
he
shot.
goes, I'm going to take a shot here. and it hit. He got lucky, man. But
you know what? Burt Reynolds was supposed to host the Pocket Party podcast, but I held out. I said I'm gonna be the host, and I'm glad I did.
And you got Dean Larit instead.
I got Dean Larit as my guest, my wonderful
compensatory
guest.
But no, we have a lot to talk about in podcast 3 of us, right?
Yes, the trilogy.
The trilogy. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed some of the stuff, and we're just here trying to, not so much to make you laugh. Oh, laughter is great, but I guess that could get old if you just have comedians that are just trying to one up each other on jokes or
I'm not into that. It's like
right.
I mean, listen.
I hope we affected you in some way, shape, or form. And just talk. Maybe
you'll get a threesome out of this.
Maybe I might get a threesome out of this.
Those are my two female listeners out there.
But no, I hope explaining my love for and adoration for Bruce Springsteen and Darren is officially become a member of the Springsteen thing. He's new, but I turned him on to Bruce about a year ago, realistically a year ago in the green room. And now he's really into it. But I hope that in some way,
the green room over there at Radio City Hall.
At Radio City.
That's right.
He was carrying a platter, and so lox and deviled eggs, and so no,
that does sound good.
It did no shit. So, but no, I hope in some way, shape, or form we affected you and made you laugh and made you think a little bit and
help your lifestyle out.
Yeah,
I always want to pass along some information, healthy lifestyle, things that can inspire others. Do you have any words of wisdom before we leave? I like to ask the guest words of wisdom, something a person can take on that can make their lives, mind, body, and soul, something that can make them a little bit happier if they're not feeling so happy or a little.
Try and put yourself in somebody else's shoes in the course of a day. And see what they might be going through something. The guy who flips you off at the thing, the girl who gives you this, whatever, this face, this nasty look, whatever. Try and think what's going on with them. Okay. And that's what I try and do these days. The new thing I've gotten into, and then we'll call it a day, I'm assuming, is, I sort of treat every human being that I meet as a 4-year-old, 5-year-old version of themselves.
Oh,
okay,
that's good.
And I start to look at them, especially when they come into my office, and I think what they were like at 5 or 6, maybe 7 years of age, and where they start developing the scheming ability, the lying ability, the telling the truth ability, whatever human beings do. In these gradual personality traits come into play. And I find that
all those traits were negative.
I said scheming, lying, telling the truth.
Oh, that's okay. Telling the truth.
Okay, compassion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so I have found that when I do that, when I reduce a human being, and I know that sounds weird, when I reduce a human being who's 35 to 55, 60 years old to a 7-year-old, I start to get a better read of them, and I'm able to relate to them in a better way, and see, oh, this person was a schemer at 7. This person had no choice but to scheme, because look, that's what kids do. They have to figure out where they fit to be able to blend, to blend in. So it seems to work for me.
You mean when a person's acting up, or you mean
when a person comes into my office, I or even on the street or wherever, I always try and imagine, what was this person like in 3rd grade? Okay, and like I see you right now, and I look at you, and like a couple of times you walked around in my apartment, and I was looking at you without you noticing, and I was studying you, and I was studying your walk, and I was studying certain things about you.
I was getting creeped up. I did notice. I'm just kidding.
No.
This guy's picturing me as a 7-year-old.
A 7-year-old boy.
He thinks I'm a schemer.
Right. And I'm sitting, and I'm watching you, and I'm going, oh, that's exactly what he was like at 7. And
I knew that because remember you go, because I sat down, you go, you were a character. You're a character.
Right. And that's right. I did say that to you.
Yeah.
And that was me reacting to that thought I had in my head. I went, oh, this guy was a character as a kid. Okay. And I find that really works when you, because let's face it, man, we are we are all just walking around in some way, shape, or form wounded. We're all wounded from something. Something fucked us from the ages of 2.5 to 7 to 9, whatever. Something tweaked us, okay? And
Dude, I can't wait to talk about that on the next episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you all about it.
Absolutely. I want you to. And because maybe it'll affect somebody else's life in a positive way, and they'll be able to go, oh, shit.
When I grew up in that foster home and like I would visit my my birth mom and stuff, I have some stories that are like, I can't wait to tell you about them.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember them burning a car that they stole and like, just weird shit where I'm like, God, I'm glad that is behind me, man.
And that's what I'm trying to say. And you took all, and you should be, here's one thing, you should be so proud because you took all of that shit that you went through, okay? And I guess not all of it was shit because you did end up scoring a great adopted family, I'm assuming, right? Right? Okay. And by the way, for those of you who can't see, he's shaking his head yes. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, you know, you should be proud because you turned all that crap into telling jokes. Okay, and let's face it, most comics, there isn't a comic alive that doesn't have some pain. Let me tell you something, folks. If you don't have pain out there, there's not a prayer you can get on that stage and make people laugh. I don't care what anybody says. You have got to be. Springsteen said, "This one of the best lines I've ever heard on fame and being an artist." Bruce Springsteen, of course, because he's so friggin' prophetic. Is that
profound?
Profound.
Prolific.
He said prolific.
Yeah.
He said every artist. And somebody said something, asked him the question, and said, you know, how do you deal with, you know, being who you are on a 24 basis? And he goes, well, every artist suffers from the same thing. They have been told by one person that they are the first coming of the baby Jesus, and by the other person that they were a worthless piece of dirt, and they believe them both.
Wow.
And now, to me, that's really fascinating. So we got to wrap it up, but we're going to get into all this stuff, and we're going to make fun of it in a good way, and we're going to turn it into comedy and have fun with it and all that other good stuff. All right?
Thank you, guys. Thank you for letting us start that party in your ear holes. Like I said, if you want to help out, I got 4 albums available on iTunes and Amazon. You know, throw down $9 and buy them. You know, they're awesome. And give us a review and leave some comments. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel.
And by the way, if I can just say one thing, I'm just looking at my iPhone right now, just looking at it, and you know how it gives you a notification, you know, of something, you know, a voicemail or something.
Yeah,
I love how it says your iPhone has not been backed up in 138 weeks.
Wow.
I always love how it tells you how many weeks it hasn't been.
You better back that up.
I got to back that up.
Girl,
all right. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. It was a lot of fun.
Girl, you look good. Once you back the phone up, you were good looking. Man, that was, wow. Dude, thank you. We did a really long episode.
You going to break that up, or you going to let it go?
Oh, I'm going to let it go.
Are we still on?
Oh, shit. I mean, I am. But, dude, thank you, man. Thanks again for having me over at the apartment here.
My pleasure. Are you kidding? My pleasure. I really hope that we can affect people in that kind of light, man. I really do, you know. And I hope it can be partial humor and partial, oh, wow, these guys bleed.
Yeah.
You know, they bleed, you know. So I'm happy, man. I thank you for the opportunity.